Sam, the Rumbelows Cup.
Fake.
Real cup.
Fake.
Fake. This is a pre-season.
That was the probabilities.
We won it in '93, beating Tottenham 4-0 in the final pre-season tournament. Okay, Sam, the Budweiser Cup.
Real. No?
Fake.
No.
Budweiser sponsored the FA Cup between 2011 and 2014. Dan, the Capital One Cup.
Real.
It was real, yeah. 2012, 2016. Yeah. Sam, the Littlewoods Cup.
Fake.
Real. 1986 to 1990.
Well, that one was real as well.
Dan, this is for the win, mate. I think, yeah. The Coca-Cola Cup.
Real.
Real. 92 to 98. We're going to carry on because I've got a couple more. I tell you what. So you're 3 up. There's 3 left. If you get all 3, Sam, you can have it.
All right, calm.
The Heineken Cup.
Fake.
Correct. It's a rugby trophy. The Stanley Cup.
Fake.
Correct. The Carling Cup.
Real.
Draw. I call it a draw.
Yeah.
I didn't check ahead. The final 3 were the easier ones. Well played, boys. Well played. So a couple more minutes, obviously, till we hand over. It's an excitement thing tonight, isn't it? You know, and obviously there's a chance to get into the final 4 of the Carling Cup. Like Matt said, you know, we've got a good history in it, a good chance to win silverware. The first piece of silverware you can really win this season. But if you make a name for yourself in this competition, Soonsup Belt, Vale, Simons, Webster, Hall, you've probably got at least one sort of say, if we get through, surely I've got to start in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Come on, Gaffer.
This is the perfect opportunity for them to show the Gaffer and the fans, like some people that don't necessarily watch PO2 or the under-18s, like what they're capable of. Because, like we've said and we've seen the goals that they scored, they are ballers and they deserve to get their opportunity in the first team. But because we've got so many quality players, it's kind of hard to, you know, break through. But now that we're in this current situation because of the amount of games that we have, I think it's going to be a really good time for them to show their quality.
There's a bit of it as well, Dan, isn't it? And obviously you want them to make the break here, you want them to stay at the football club forever. But if you are one of these younger players, you see Tariq Lamptey, you see Tino Livramento, you see Fikayo Tomori, Tammy Abraham, you think, well, people know that we're good enough coming from Cobham because of the level of player that you create. Yeah. If you play really well tonight against a Premier League team, if you're not in the Chelsea team for next season, there's probably teams looking, going, we'll take him on loan, or, you know, we'll try and give him an opportunity here. So it's more than just breaking through as a Chelsea player today. It's breaking through as a footballer, isn't it?
For the boys tonight, it's really a win-win. You know, coming from Cobham, there is a certain level of prestige where other teams are going to look at you and take you very seriously because you've come from one of the world's best footballing academies. So whether or not they stay and break into the first team, or they go out on loan or move elsewhere, a performance tonight, if they get on, is important for them. You know, they want to prove to themselves that they can do it at this level, prove to everyone else. They want to keep fresh in Thomas Tuchel's mind. So there's nothing but incentives for them to just get on tonight and do as best as they can. I know they'll do just that.
And you also, there's no pressure on them because you lean on the experience. You know, Xavier Simons playing right wing back. He's got Cesar Azpilicueta playing just inside him. He's got Mateo Kovacic playing next to him. He's got, you know, Ross Barkley, and same with Soonsup Bell and Harvey Vale. You've got players around you that are experienced pros that have been there, done it. This is nothing new to them. And again, this is as much an opportunity for them to say, no, I should be a stick-on. I should be starting every Premier League game from now on. Yeah. So, like Dan's already said, it's a win-win, not just for the younger players, but for the players that are coming in tonight as well.
Yeah, and this is what you need, like that healthy competition within your squad of players that can play in multiple positions, because Simmons, he can play in multiple positions, the same as Bell as well. If they do well there, doesn't mean that they're not going to get opportunities in other positions as well. And with the experience that we've got with Kovacic coming back, and that experience, if anyone is having like a poor 2 or 3 minutes, he's obviously going to be able to put an arm around them and say, like, boys, don't worry, like, you'll be good. So yeah, it's good all round.
And also the system hasn't changed, because I think a lot of us, when we first saw the team sheet, thought, well, maybe it'll be a 4, maybe it'll be a 4 at the back, maybe we'll go 4-2-3-1, something like that. But because the players know the system, the players coming through the academy and develop, they know the system. Everyone's going to be confident, and like you said already, it's just an opportunity to impress the boss. Yeah,
exactly. And to be fair, the one hallmark of youth is that it's fearless, and they will want to get on the ball and impress rather than let the occasion swallow them whole. So I expect them to be brave on the ball. I expect them to almost be careless. Not careless in a bad way, but as in I want them to drive at players and to be brave. Because you know you've got Kovacic, you've got Aspi, you've got so many experienced players around you that you can afford to kind of show your talents more than play it safer than you absolutely have to, especially when you're coming through at this stage in your career.
Completely agree. Boys, brilliant as always. Right then, stick around. Chelsea against Brentford in the Carabao Cup for a place in the Final Four. In the commentary position is Jason Cundy and Matt Davies-Adams.
Welcome to our coverage then of Brentford versus Chelsea in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. A place in the last four. The prize on offer for tonight's winner, and there must be a winner tonight. We'll play 90 minutes. If it's a draw at that point, we will go straight to penalties. Chelsea with plenty of experience of that, not just in this competition this season. We're just having a light show as we await the entrance of the two teams. Chelsea's second visit to this stadium. You can hear Hey Jude. Well, Jude Soonsup-Bell is playing for Chelsea, but this is the new-ish Brentford anthem. Whilst the teams are in the tunnel, I'll run you through the two lineups. We'll start with Chelsea. Kepa is the goalkeeper. Formation TBC, but this is what we're going with. Azpilicueta, Chalobah and Sarr as a back three. Simons and Alonso wing backs. That might swap round. It might well be Azpilicueta who will be in the back and Simon's right wing back. We'll wait and see on that. Saul and Kovacic will surely be in central midfield. Barkley, Soonsup-Bell and Harvey Vale is the front three. As for Brentford, they have Alvaro Fernandez in goal. Beck, Janssen and Pinnock are the back three. Kanyos and Henry are their wing backs. Baptiste, Janelt and Jensen in midfield with Visser and Burmo as the two strikers. 9-man bench in this competition. 5 subs can be used per team. Chelsea's are Bettinelli, James, Rudiger, Hall, Jorginho, Kante, Webster, Pulisic and Mount. For Brentford, the replacements: Cox, Thompson, Fors, Norgard, Godos, Finn, Stevens, Onyeka and a former Chelsea youth player in Miles Peart-Harris. Jason, we've spoken before the match about the main areas for Chelsea to be wary of, certainly in terms of the Brentford threat as well as their own. But how are you feeling now if you're 17-year-old Jude Soonsup-Bell? I'm sure you can remember your debut pretty clearly. I guess you want an early touch of the ball, don't you?
Do you know what? You dream from the moment you can put a pair of football boots on and decide at a very young age you want to play football. And there's, let me tell you now, the age of 3 or 4 is not too early. There's a lot of young footballers out there that had these dreams. For him to be in a game of this size, and it is a huge game, not just for him, but Chelsea Football Club, congratulations to him and his family and everyone at the academy that have worked so hard to get him into that position. Go out and do yourself proud, son. Go and play your game. There's no pressure at all on you. The pressure is on the rest of the players. Go and enjoy it. And that was how I went into my debut. I was, young. First, go and play. Just go and just enjoy it. And that would be my advice. But of course, it's a quarter-final of a major cup competition. So, yeah, not easy for me just to say that. And he's got to go and do it.
Yeah, we love bringing you academy football, PL2 football on the 5th stand, but this is a whole different level from what you're used to seeing these guys play in. It looks a fairly full stadium, and Lee Parker was saying beforehand, some people understandably returning their tickets, but it seems as though it's going to be pretty much sold out. We know it can be a cauldron of noise, this place. Chelsea winners here earlier in the season, remember, albeit it was a hard-fought victory, to put it mildly. Arsenal already through to the semis. They beat Sunderland 5-1 last night. Also tonight, Liverpool versus Leicester and Spurs West Ham. They both get underway at the same time that we do, and we will bring you up to date with the goals if and when they go in those games. No Ivan Toney for Brentford tonight, Jason, and Burmo's got a goal in him, and Visser's had a good season though, so they do pose a threat.
Yeah, it's not the strongest team, and Burmo's is a live wire up top, and he perhaps should have maybe 7 or 8 goals more than he does already. I've seen him. He could have scored against us. Game against Liverpool, could have had a goal. Could have had a couple more in other games that I've seen. He's a little wasteful, but gets into good areas. And do not underestimate what the boy can do, because when you get into those areas, you pull the trigger at the right time, make the right call, ball ends up the back of the net.
Brentford just having a huddle before we get going. Andre Mariner is the referee. That's a late change. Peter Banks was originally scheduled to be the official for this match, but it's Mariner who is in charge. Let's hope Chelsea can sail all the way through to the semi-finals. It's going to be Harvey Vale and Jude Soonsup-Bell to get the game underway. Chelsea wearing blue shirts and shorts with white socks as the players take a knee before the game to warm applause. Brentford, of course, in their red and white stripes. The first time these two clubs have ever met in the League Cup. Brentford have had a straightforward passage to this stage. They smashed 7 past Oldham. They beat Forest Green in the previous round. They went away at Stoke too. So the first time that they've faced Premier League opposition in this season's competition. Chelsea on the ball early on with Cesar Azpilicueta, the captain, who launches one through the middle, looking for Soonsup-Bell. Janssen's header's only dropped out as far as Vale. He tried to win a free kick, nothing doing. Might break for Sarr, who manages to move it left-hand side for Marcos Alonso. 30 seconds gone, Brentford haven't touched the ball yet.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the team, you know, the back 3 plus the keeper, and then the midfield 4, that's solid. Then you move a little bit further forward, and perhaps it comes a little. But you know what? That back line, that should give these young lads some confidence. When I look, if I was a young boy starting up top, and I saw Kovacic sitting in there, and Barkley and Chalobah and Rudiger and Azpilicueta, do you know what? I feel pretty confident that I can go out there, put in a performance. If I make a mistake, I've got someone covering my back.
So it looks as though, from the early stages, well, Vale is the closest player to Soonsup-Bell, who is the central striker. Vale just trying to get involved now, but Ethan Pinnock's got the ball right side for Brentford, plays it back to Pontus Jansson. They're going with the 2 up front here, Chelsea, with Vale and Soonsup-Bell.
Definitely, 100% are. It's a 3-5-2, and you'll be looking for the likes of Ross and Cover to break in advance. So Sal's the one that's sitting slightly deeper. He's the link, if you like, in between the back 3, and you've got Cover trying to join and link up. Barkley being a little bit more adventurous, but Sal, he's the quarterback, if you like. And I have to say, I thought he'd done that very well, Matt, against Wolves when he came off the bench in a game that Wolves allowed Chelsea and him a little bit more space. His life at Stamford Bridge has been a tricky one, no question. Chance for Alonso though on the left-hand side.
Yes, slice clearance from Brentford means Alonso's left-hand side trying to wriggle away from Sergi Canos. His fellow Spaniard felt he was fouled, referee disagreed, and Canos can thump it down the line up and over halfway, where it'll be picked up by Chalobah. Really good to see Trev out there, because your heart sank when he went off at half-time against Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that hamstring that he pulled up. We thought, sorry, it was the hamstring. It was against West Ham, wasn't it? Watford, sorry, I do apologise. Yes, and once he's gone off, you think, oh God, has it reoccurred? But good to see him back.
And he is marshalling that 3-man defence tonight. He's got Azpilicueta to his right, who he just played the ball to. Now, here is Barkley. Drifting into midfield, giving it up for Malang Sarr. Sarr had a good full Premier League debut on this ground.
You see, so what the shape's allowing us to do now is that we're allowing Barkley, Ross, who's now got himself in the ball, is to go really high and wide. So that midfield shape, it's a 3-5-2, and that midfield shape allows the 2 wider men just to be a little bit more ambitious and go and in support. It looks like Vale is now dropping in to be an extra man in the middle of the park, and just Soonsup-Bell is just been the furthest man forward, but they don't want the shape to be rigid. You want it to be quite fluid, where the ball is, who's in possession, how it's going to work.
Here's Alonso with the ball at the moment, giving it short to Kovacic. First start for him in the thick end of 2 months. Since the last round, actually, was the last time that he started a game against Southampton on the 26th of October. Here's Saul playing it forward. Vale doing well, holding off a couple of challenges. Moves it out left-hand side for Alonso. It's good play with his back to goal from Harvey Vale. Kovacic has worked it back out to Alonso. Crossing position from the left wing here. Sends it deep into the penalty area. Didn't quite drop for Barkley. Had a clear. Goes out as far as Azpilicueta. Been a really good start from Chelsea. 4.5 gone. The game's been played almost exclusively in Brentford's half of the field as a Saul pass goes out of play.
Yeah, we have started well, and Saul has started well. Also, there's been a couple of nice touches in the middle of the park. That pass let himself down badly, but good to see Val. So Val is the supporting act. He's the one that's going to come in and be the number 10, if you like, in this system right now. Just drop that little air in the area, and the way that Brentford is set up, they're just, I mean, every man is behind the ball. They're looking to contain. They got 5 across the back. It's a 5-3-2, very similar to what Wolves did. And, you don't blame Tom. You don't blame what they're doing, but with plenty of possession, which we're having right now, we're working them. We're working them from right to left.
Cross from Simon's hit. Rico Henry will be able to get that clear, but or should have done. But Sal's putting him under pressure, and Henry's forced to put it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, Sal's could do better there, Matt. That's not the worst position to be. He's got bodies in the box. As a touch, nice first touch. Doesn't do anything with it.
Just gave it back to Azpilicueta. It's over to Chalobah now. Chalobah, who all of a sudden feels like one of the senior statesmen in the team.
Isn't that amazing? Huh? If you'd put this game back 6 months ago, mate, it would have been part of the Trevor Chalobah's making his debut. Amazing.
Here's Malang Sarr. He's played it out to Kovacic. 0-0's the score. We've had 6 minutes. The Chelsea supporters in good voice. Who knows how many more games people are going to get to come to live. So they want to make the most of it, as Alonso's cross is blocked at source and should be cleared away by Matthias Jensen, but he's been boxed into a corner and ended up carrying it out of play for a throw-in near the corner flag left-hand side as Chelsea attack.
Nice pressure that wasn't just a single player going. Marcus has gone, but he's been backed up by his teammates. Cobber's got in there as well, as is Ross. It's been out. He's been given away cheaply though. Throw in there, just crediting Marcus and Ross Barkley there between the pair of them. They managed to give the ball straight back.
So it's a throw-in for Brentford. Ethan Pinnock's got the ball in his hand. Former Dulwich Hamlet defender. So played for Forest Green as well. He's worked his way up from non-league, League 2, to be a Premier League defender. 7 minutes gone. Brentford 0, Chelsea 0, as I say. Games between Liverpool and Leicester and Spurs and West Ham going on. The draw will be made later tonight. There's Vale looking to cross. Back for Kovacic, left-hand side level with the edge of the box, but tight to the touchline. Gave it back to Sarr. And now Chalobah under pressure from Visser. Azpilicueta moves it out to Simons. Can he take on his fullback? Looking for a give and go instead with Barkley. Poor return pass from Barkley allowed Rico Henry to recover the ball.
There's lots of grass there. He can afford actually to be a little over-ambitious on that pass. He hasn't got to play it too undercooked. He can overplay that pass, get in there. Just looking at Saul on the ball and Vale, very similar when they're receiving. They've both got gloves, both left-footed, both that type of player would like to receive it on the outside of the foot. Nice little soft touch. Very difficult right now to tell the two apart.
Commentator's nightmare. I often think the same about Mason Mount and Christian Pulisic. One of you change your hair, help us out a little bit. Here's Kovacic, left-hand side. He goes back to Sarr, and now Chalobah. You say, Jason, it's obviously part of a game plan from Brentford, but Paul Visser and Mbermo just chasing shadows at the moment. And all right, the ball's back with Kepa now, but I was half expecting them to come out thinking, well, this is a young and inexperienced, much-changed Chelsea team. Let's put them under the cosh in the first 15 minutes. Anything but.
Yes, they've been very passive, and it's about getting their shape right. And showing Chelsea a lot of respect right now. Maybe I'd suggest even a bit too much respect, Matt.
Well, that's a good ball from Vale to get Alonso in behind here. Cuts it back, looking for the return pass to Vale, but it was intercepted before it could reach him by Vitaly Janelt and cleared away up to halfway, but Mbermo couldn't make it stick there. It's back with Kovacic now. Oh, Azpilicueta in space. That's a rusty pass, we'll call that one, from Kovacic. Picked off by Visser. Maybe a break on here for Brentford. Ball arrowed right to left out to the wing from Mbermo to chase. Visser in the middle. First time cross sent in towards him. No chance it was ever going to reach him.
OK, so they're obviously looking to catch Chelsea on the counter-attack. Only one body in the box on that occasion. And I know the ball broke down in the middle third, but nonetheless, if you are going to play a counter-attack style of football, you have to make sure there are players ready to spring. And they weren't, and they didn't do that. But that's how it looked. Going back to the point you're making, Matt, I think they're prepared to contain and sit and be happy and try and catch Chelsea on the break. The one thing I will say is, in Trevor and Tony, there's a lot of pace back there. It's a difficult back three to try and get in beyond on a counter-attack. Obviously, numbers will count. Of course they will. But in terms of pace, that's quite tricky.
Sarr offloading it to Kovacic. Here's Chalobah. There's Piliqueta, right-hand side. He's got the protection of the pace of young Simons outside of him too. Sarr maybe making up the legs for Alonso. Here's Kovacic, inside left position out to Marcos Alonso. Up against Canos again. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Playing it infield for Vale. First time touch off from him.
Vale's the one right now that's given away on that occasion. Yeah, Vale's the one that's him and Saul. They're very difficult to pick apart, but he's the one that's happy just to come and be the more support act at the moment.
Yeah, he's had the most touches of the ball of the three kids, hasn't he? I don't think we've seen Soonsup Bell yet. Here he is on the ball now, 64 on his back. Obviously, they've all got these very high squad numbers, 64 for Soonsup Bell and 68 for Vale and 54 for Simons. That's a consequence of the EFL trophy that Chelsea's under-21 team plays in, which these boys have played in. They have to have a senior squad number, so they get these high ones for that. Here's number 8, Kovacic, back for Sarr. Sarr started every round of this competition so far. He looked for Azpilicueta there, or maybe Simons, but didn't find either of them. And now Brentford can break with Rico Henry, and he's got plenty of pace. He's got Mbermo and Visser in the middle too. Poor cross, didn't beat Chalobah. He'll be able to pick up the scraps though over on the far side, the left. Henry playing it to the edge of the box, and Mbermo dabs it in first time. Great ball for Visser, should score. Heads it straight at Kepa from about 4 yards out. What a brilliant chance that was. It was a decent save from Kepa. He shouldn't have been given the chance to make it.
No, he shouldn't. Straight at him. Sarri's just gone to sleep. Come on, makes a great run through the middle of the park, but just momentarily there, Matt. We just fell asleep at that far post. Kepa was right place, right time, straight at him. If he heads the ball down, that should be in the back of the net. Should be 1-0.
Yellow card for Vitaly Janelt, meanwhile, for a foul on Kovacic as Chelsea were looking to break. Early goal in one of the other quarter-finals. Liverpool 0, Leicester 1. Jamie Vardy has scored at Anfield. We're just getting a chance to see that opportunity for Visser again.
Maybe.
No VAR tonight, so if the flag hadn't gone up, we'd never have known.
Absolutely right, you're absolutely right. But he looked maybe offside on that occasion. Sarr just got caught flat-footed a little bit.
Here's Chalobah pushing it out to Azpilicueta, just over halfway. 12 minutes and change on the clock. Brentford 0, Chelsea 0, quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. First misplaced pass of the night. I've just done what you did. I was going to say from Harvey Vale. It was from Saul.
Matt, they look so alike. They are so similar. Yes, of course, in that case it was Saul, but Kepa, right place, right time, and it's the sort of save that as a goalkeeper you have to make and will make because it's straight at you, but it should possibly be 1-0, and Thomas Frank's tactics, you could argue, after 13 minutes, it should be 1-0.
Here's Simons. Big night for him, obviously, making his Chelsea debut. Actually joined Chelsea after the Brentford Academy closed down in 2016. He's a local boy as well, Xavier Simons. Brentford going for the B-team route these days. It's all very stats-based, their model, and it's been very successful for them too. Here's Azpilicueta. Played it into midfield for Barkley. His touch was slightly heavy, but he worked it back to Azpilicueta. And now Trevor Chalobah will roll it across for Sarr. Again, Brentford more than happy for Chelsea to have the ball round about halfway. And now they've won possession back. Visser laying it backward. And now Janelt will stab it forward, and there's a chance for Mbermo maybe, but Kepa's come out of his box and volleys it out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, just if that pass is better, it's slightly overhit, and Mbermo, I think, might be able to get onto that. Credit to Kepa, he's on his toes, he's on the edge of his box and reads the overhit pass. But just the last 3 or 4 minutes, Matt, maybe seeing Thomas Frank's tactics, how they are set up quite well. Contain and look to counter.
There's a ball into the box from Henry, headed away by Sarr. And Simons heads it into midfield. Jensen plays it forward, volleyed away by Chalobah. Nobody in blue anywhere near the Brentford goal to try and get on the end of that, so it's worked all the way back to Alvaro Fernandez, who is filling in for his fellow Spaniard David Raya, who'll be out for a while with an injury. Fernandez does have a cap for Spain. He's on a season loan from Huesca. He's rolled it out to Pontus Jansson, former Leeds defender. He comes right-hand side for Pinnock. Pinnock back to Jansson again, being closed down by Soon-Suk Bell. Cleared up toward halfway. Challenge was a strong one from Simons. Referee's playing advantage with Brentford still on the ball. Henry plays it infield to Mbermo. Now Chelsea have got numbers back in position. Janelt works it out left-hand side. Transfer across into the Chelsea box maybe from Henry. He tried that, but it was blocked by Simons, who volleys it over his head. And touched back into midfield by Baptiste. It's a good spell for Brentford. Now they are having plenty of possession.
Best spell of the game for Brentford right now in terms of possession in Chelsea's half.
Here comes Ethan Pinnock, inside right position, going out to Canos. Canos looking for room for a cross here. Vale trying to deny him. Alonso too. Canos got it in, but Chalobah got his foot to it, and then it's cleared away up toward halfway, but Soon-Suk Bell couldn't get the touch ahead of Jansson. And now Mbermo plays it infield. Chance for Janelt to have a shot from the edge of the box, maybe. He's skating along, goes outside to Henry instead, back with Janelt, swings it in. First time toward Canos, got up to win the header, headed it across goal rather than toward it. Simons nods it down for Azpilicueta, and he can hook it away, but it breaks for Brentford. They're having all the pressure at the moment. Maybe now Chelsea can break with Kovacic though. Appeals for handball turned down. Kovacic on halfway, works it infield to Vale. 3 forward in this Chelsea attack. Here's Soon-Suk Bell. Soon-Suk Bell into the penalty area, driving wide, gets his cross in, and the shot on the volley is badly sliced wide by Ross Barkley. It stays 0-0.
Do you know what? That wasn't the worst counter-attack at all. He gets a slightly fortunate cover, and he plays the ball in. In the end, the cross has come over to Ross. Ross has got a bit of time there to think about his choice of shot, but the ball in the end goes to Vale. Vale comes out onto this left-hand side. Once he plays that ball back across, Ross has got a bit of time to think about that. I know it's on his weaker foot, but he hasn't got that smash or lash at it. Just get good contact, get it goalwards. Chance, best chance for Chelsea so far.
First real involvement for Soon-Suk Bell too in that build-up play. From a family of Chelsea fans is the 17-year-old. You offered him a glass of mulled wine, he'd have to say no thank you, not until January.
You could see he receives the ball, so his back is, in the end there was, I think it might have been Sowell on that far side, it's in support, but what he's done, he's taken on his left foot, and he's done the right thing. He's gone to the byline as far as he can, cut it back. Ross has got a bit of time, a bit more time than he realised.
Meanwhile, Alonso's giving it away, and here's Mbermo on halfway, and Sowell stepped in, put a foot in, and Sarr will be able to get that clear.
And Mbermo's a danger man. Whenever I've seen him play, he always excites me. I always feel as though something might come of it. On that occasion it didn't, thankfully.
Here's Barkley moving it on for Azpilicueta, just over halfway, inside right. Played it down the line looking for Soon-Suk Bell, but cleared away by Beck before he could get there. So Chalobah has the ball now. Started every round so far, as has Malang Sarr, those two of the back three. Kovacic moves it out to Alonso. Alonso infield for Vale. Vale, again, sensible with his use of the ball, gives it back to Kovacic. Now Sarr.
Every Brentford player back. This is quite tough for us to break down right now. They're happy for Chelsea to have it, even as we approach their final third. But once they do, there's bodies around every single pass. 2 or 3 around every ball, closing it down, squeezing the pitch. And they're kind of making this game up just inside their final third. Over the halfway line, they're happy to half engage, but largely it's when we get in their final third. Chance though.
Kovacic breaking, moves it out wide for Alonso. Alonso, 2 in the middle to aim across at, delayed it, over it comes now. Good run being made late on. And the header from Barkley looped up into the air and was never really a threat to Fernandez's goal. Seems like Barkley's the man who the chances are falling to at the moment though. Here come Brentford. Oh, heavy touch there. Means that Chalobah can win the ball back and find Kovacic just over halfway. Comes left-hand side for Marcus Alonso. Beaten finalist twice in this competition with Chelsea in 2019 and with Sunderland in 2014, Alonso. Now here's Kovacic, looking to win the League Cup for the first time. Saul goes to Chalobah, out for Azpilicueta, one of the survivors of the class of 2015. Chalobah again. We've had nearly 20 minutes. It's still 0-0. Brentford have had by far the best chance of the match. A header that went straight toward Kepa. Leicester now 2-0 up at Liverpool, Jason. Jamie Vardy scored again.
You're going to see some strange, as you often do. Chelsea on the left-hand side. Alonso gets the halfway line, had to cut back though.
So he goes backward to Kovacic. Kovacic then will work it infield for Sarr. Sarr switches play left to right to find Azpilicueta. He's got Simons outside of him. Came infield instead to Barkley. Barkley's not had a good start to the game. His touch there was poor.
Yeah, that's poor. Ross has got that ability. That's not a difficult pass. It's on the outside of his foot. Don't quite know why he tries to spin or do something with the ball. Play the ball, get good contact, put the ball where it needs to be. And then relieves Brentford of their attacking defensive duties and allow them to get a little bit higher up the pitch. A couple of times I've been meaning to kind of step in and hasn't quite presented itself because possession has changed hands. But largely Brentford they're just sitting and they're trying to spring a little attack. They're trying to make sure that there's enough players in the areas they can hurt Chelsea. Okay, now they're building the attack of their own, and this is an opportunity down their right.
Sergio Canals has got it up against Marcos Alonso. Canals showed too much of it to Alonso, he could just take it from him. And Barkley's dispossessed, but it runs for Saul. And Chalobah smashes it straight against him.
Two mistakes, but both Ross and Chalobah there, sloppy, the pair of them. Ross taking unnecessary risks, Chalobah taking unnecessary risks. You know, Ross trying to get caught in possession there. Doesn't need to do that, Chalobah. Saul didn't help him, in all honesty, but between the three of them, in the end, it's a goal kick, and that's all it is.
Kepa spinning the ball in his hands as he then places it down. It's one of those nights where the steam is not only pouring out the player's breath, but off Johan Visser's ball bounce as well. Approaching the midway point of the half. Brentford 0, Chelsea 0. League Cup quarter-final. Ball drops for Kovacic on halfway, left-hand side. Swaps passes with Saul. Now Kovacic again going backward this time to Chalobah.
Let's go back to the point you're making, Matt, about Leicester 2-0 up. This competition will allow those sort of results to happen because Liverpool have their eyes on bigger prizes, as do Chelsea. Leicester less so, Brentford definitely less so, and it becomes they can afford to perhaps be a little bit more ambitious, certainly in COVID times, and pick a team that can get them to a semi-final of a major domestic cup. That's massive, for both of them. So we've got to match it. No excuses from me. Got to find a way.
You get the impression Brendan Rodgers is not that keen on being in the Europa Conference League next year. Maybe take the League Cup a bit more seriously. Here's Soonsup Bell threading it through for Vale. Couldn't quite get on the end of it inside the penalty area. Through to Fernandes.
Not the worst ball, by the way. That one. Just escapes Soonsup Bell slightly, but Kovacic, he manages to find it's a bit of disguise. Just kind of chipped in there. That's not the worst pass at all, but largely Chelsea are dominating possession. Haven't really done anything. 23 minutes on the clock. You often look, don't you, at the clock and say, what's happened in that time? Who's been the better team? What chances have been created? Well, the truth is, Brentford have created the best chance in the opportunity.
And Chelsea have hit a few stray passes like the one that Chalobah just has. Still 0-0. Thomas Tuchel making some signals with his arms about where he wants the ball to go. To touchline managers tonight who won't move from their spots on the edge of their technical areas, cajoling their players through the games. Here's Chalobah. Gives it to Alonso. He let it run through his legs for Kovacic. Kovacic will work it back to Malang Sarr. Sarr then across for Chalobah again. This is Azpilicueta now. Azpilicueta near halfway. Plays it up to Barkley. Barkley turning away from a few challenges. Infield to Kovacic. That was a good ball. Kovacic out for Alonso. First time cross maybe. No, he wants a touch to set it. Now he sends it in. And Fernandes paws at it, gets something on it, and then Azpilicueta can't control a volley. One of those difficult ones, bouncing up about knee height, and it flew over the bar.
Yeah, tough chance, but it's all about Ross Barkley. Really intelligent play from Ross. Plays the ball out to this left-hand side. Alonso puts the ball in. The keeper just paws at it. Doesn't really get enough on it. Not great goalkeeping. Fernandez at all. And if Aspi can get that on target, it's got a chance. But comes from Ross, quick feet, intelligent passing, moving the ball forward as quick as he can, trying to disrupt their midfield. Does that, but in the end they do enough, Brentford.
Here's Mbermo deep in his own half of the field, back to goal. The Frenchman. Brentford keeping possession just in front of their own penalty area. Pinnock now moves more toward halfway, gives it to Matthias Jensen. Jensen plays it in midfield to Visser, who let it run cleverly. That was good from Visser. Then moved on for Mbermo, left-hand side. He pushes it out to the wing, Enrico Henry. Henry up against Simons. Fancies chances of taking on the teenager. Goes back instead to Mbermo. Mbermo crossing from deep, headed away by Chalobah. Drop for Ethan Pinnock. He looked for a 1-2 with Canos, or Canos looked for it rather. Pinnock not really sure what to do in a right wing position, the central defender, but eventually the ball comes off Alonso, goes out for a Brentford throw level with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area.
Some defending to do, a little bit stretched in that back line. Marcus Alonso has had to come in field, reads the pass, stops the 1-2 to get in behind. Brentford just showing their teeth a little bit.
Madsbæk Sorensen, one of the many Danish players on Brentford's books. He's preparing to throw the ball in. It's going to be a long throw from him. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's pulled a goal back for Liverpool. It's 2-1 to Leicester. 0-0 still between West Ham and Spurs. 0-0 here too. Here comes Beck with a huge throw into the penalty area. Comes off Alonso, goes behind for what is the first corner of the game.
Yeah, Pinnock just does enough to make sure that Marcus doesn't leave the ground comfortably and can get that clean header on it. There is contact between the pair, fairly, but you know, in the end that contact is enough to make sure that Marcus does concede that first corner of the evening.
It's going to be Matthias Jensen who will take it. There's his international football with Andreas Christensen. Jensen from the right then. Pinnock and Pontus Jansson both forward from the back for this. It's Jensen with a deep out-swinging delivery. Alonso didn't get anything on it, and the volley sent back in from Mbermo. Goes so far wide that it's gone out for a throw-in. Must have come off a Chelsea boot, I think, on the way through, did it? Or am I just being kind to Brian Mbermo?
No, from the angle that we're looking at, it looked like something might have caught it, but it would appear that the officials disagree with us. Mbermo, he seems to strike it well enough, but maybe the angle of the goal and the ball deceives us.
Alonso will take the throw-in. About 10 yards up from the corner flag left-hand side. Gave it short to Kovacic, who gave it in back. Now here's Sarr. Sarr stepping away from one. Playing it up to Barkley. Barkley allowed to turn. Chelsea might be able to break here. Barkley's got to get the pass right. He found Azpilicueta. He's got Simons out to his right. Soon set Bale through the middle. Bale and Alonso coming up in support. Here's Simons. Can he get his cross right? No, he's hit the first man, Henry. Goes back to Azpilicueta. Now here's Saul. Saul thinking about a shot from 30 yards. He's gone for it as well. And it hit Janssen on the edge of the penalty area. Didn't carry any kind of punch to really threaten Fernandez that it got that far. And eventually the ball goes out of play for a throw into Brentford near the corner flag, far side the left. Nearly half an hour gone, goalless here.
There's a little bit wasted opportunity there on a number of occasions, certainly on the left and then twice on the right, and then Saul's gone for the shot. I'm not convinced the shot was on. There's a lot of bodies between him and the goal, and maybe a bit of frustration starting to creep in, Matt. Wasn't it? I don't know what you thought, but it felt like it wasn't the right call at all, even when the ball is received. You can see what he wants to do. He's shaping up his left foot, but it didn't look a shot opportunity for me.
Here's Malang Sarr. Chelsea with the ball on halfway. Comes short for Kovacic. Sarr again. Only Premier League appearance so far. Only Premier League start was here. Now Saul. He goes back to Chalobah. Again, Brentford with all their players in their own half of the field at the moment.
We're doing that very well right now. Is actually building into the midfield third when they sit deep. Yeah, we get time and space. The problem we're encountering is what we just encountered now, is that final third. So we're moving the ball well. Sal's offered himself. We always seem to get in towards their final third. But because they're shape of a 5-3-2, then we come up against the shirt, the red and white shirts, very difficult to break down.
Here's Bale, though, inside the penalty area, cuts it back for Alonso, and he wasn't ready to receive it, and so he went down hoping for a penalty, and Andre Mariner told him to get back to his feet again.
Yeah, not a penalty. Nowhere near it for me. But just saying the point I was making, up to their final third, we've not really looked like threatening. One or two moments. Just then, we managed to break in beyond their midfield press of the three, in between them and the five. Marcus Alonso found himself with the yard of space. It was a challenge, but it's not a penalty.
And Mbeumo on halfway. Ball then played up to Baptiste. Baptiste laying off left-hand side for Henry. Henry thought about a cross from deep, decided to play it short instead. Janelt then moves it across to Pinnock. Now it's Chelsea who've got everybody back inside their own half of the field. Beck infield to Janelt. Beck again. Brentford now trying to do what Chelsea have been trying to do for the game, and they have to go back into their own half. And Chelsea can come out a little bit, but Beck still has it. Easily away from Soonsup Bell. On he goes down the left wing, plays the ball into the channel. Cross can come in here from Mbeumo, but he's hit Chalobah with it, and Chalobah clears away, but only straight to Rico Henry. Henry running into the penalty area up against Simons, clips his crossover, real chance here, and Kepa makes the save to deny Matthias Jensen, and to fling himself to his right there. Again, it was a headed opportunity, this one a bit further out than Visser's, maybe 10 yards or so, but again, didn't get it far enough in the corner.
No conviction whatsoever. It was a lofty cross, he's got to put all the power on it himself. Never really looked convincing, the header, even though it was a good chance. I have to say, Kepa does well. If he doesn't save that, then you know he's in. Then he shouldn't be between the sticks wearing a pair of gloves for Chelsea, because it was actually a very easy save to make in the end. Having said that, both chances now have appeared on their left, crosses from the left into the box, and headers, and they definitely had the best two chances of the game. That was one, but without being a brilliant chance.
Beck is going to take another long throw, and this one he gets more distance on than his previous one. It bounces a couple of times as well, and eventually it's headed back to Kepa. Oh, is there a break on maybe for Chelsea? No, Kepa doesn't think so, so he holds on to it.
Yeah, so you think, you know, what Thomas Frank is doing, 32 minutes into this game, third of it in, two best chances, certainly one of them. Yeah, you could argue definitely they should be 1-0 up, or the potential. That last chance, not totally convinced. It was brilliant. It had no pace on the cross. Having said that, though, it was a chance, more than we've created so far.
Musar out for Kovacic. Kovacic over on the left wing for the moment, turning infield to get away from Jensen rather. Now Saul moving it to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta halfway over halfway, pushes it out to the right wing, and Simons back for Azpilicueta. Here's Saul.
Very reluctant to play that ball into the front man, aren't we? You know, it's got to go through the midfield. We don't want to play that ball in. If Lukaku's in there, Matt, or Havertz, I think we probably play a couple of these balls in a little bit earlier, don't we? Do you know what I mean? It's a bit slow and a bit predictable on the build-up play, and we're trying to get it into the perfect pass. The perfect pass rarely appears.
Here's Alonso, left-hand side as Chelsea attack, goes back to Kovacic. Kovacic playing it into midfield where Chalobah is waiting. He moves it on for Azpilicueta.
Yeah, every Brentford player back in their final third. The spaces, the 5-3-2 is beautiful. From here where we're sitting, the shape is excellent. They're well recovered. The midfield three drop in convincingly, and then they win the ball. And, yeah, there's no way through right now for us. No way through at all.
Jensen plays it into midfield. Now Shandon Baptiste looking to play in Henry left-hand side. Got his cross in ahead of Simons, cleared away by Chalobah before he could reach Mbeumo. Saul with a double header, and then lumps it forward, and Pinnock will be able to work it back to back.
Yeah, they're springing their attack. They look far more threatening without actually being threatening. They look more dangerous than us. So we've had more possession and more passes, had more possession inside their final third, but what limited time they've been in there, They look like because they've got us out of shape, and they're getting in beyond us. We're finding it very hard to get them out of shape at the moment. They look very comfortable, unless they give the ball like they just have. And again, they're going to retreat. They're going to get back in. They're going to be unless we do something quickly, which we've just done. Actually, it's a brilliant ball into Marcus Alonso on the left-hand side.
From Saul, over comes Alonso's cross, cleared away by Janssen. Might break for Barkley, awkward one for him. Flicks his header out, looking for Simons, but he wasn't quite ready to take it. I think he struggled the most out of the three, hasn't he, Xavier Simons, to really get involved?
Yeah, and without... Yes, you're right. I don't think he's done anything wrong.
Just hasn't seen much of the ball.
There's not been, and getting Marcus on the other side. There's been far more possession for Marcus than there has been for Simons on that other side.
Here's Chalobah playing it into midfield for Saul. Less than 10 minutes of the first half to go. Kovacic works it left-hand side for Alonso. Alonso in field then for Kovacic again. Well, here's Chalobah. Chalobah on for Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta will work it back infield for Saul. Long sleeves and gloves for him tonight. Malang Sarr left-hand side for Alonso. Alonso looking what he's got in the middle. Came back square for Kovacic. He'll have a drive up to the edge of the box. Played it into the penalty area. Vale with his back to goal. Nice turn from Vale. Managed to get a shot off. Deflected off Janssen behind for Chelsea's first corner. Really
nice piece of skill that from Vale. Reminded me a little bit of Mason Green with that. Mason does that very, very well. He gets the ball into his feet. If he's got a good first touch, he normally makes his mind up quite quickly if he can get the shot away. Lovely use of the sole of the foot. Shifts it from his left-hand side to his right. Drills it with his laces. Takes the deflection and goes out for a corner.
Barkley to deliver. Clips it to the edge of the penalty area. Azpilicueta won the header against Mbeumo, and then Chalobah hooked it over his shoulder. Guess that'll count as a shot on target, but in name only. Fernandez then pumps it out quickly toward Mbeumo. It's a really good goal kick. Brilliant take from Mbeumo too. Left-hand side, looking for some support. Got Henry on the overlap here, and he's managed to get in behind Simons, and then Simons does really well.
Simons does superbly well. That's brilliant defensive play from Simons. He's almost committed to stop the cross. Manages to, and that's a tough skill to say, tough skill, athleticism there, to stay on your feet once you're committed, and then push the body weight from your right-hand side to your left, making sure, one, you don't give away a penalty, but two, you manage to win the ball. Brilliant play from Simons.
Baptiste, meanwhile, works it back to Janssen. Here's Pinnock. Pinnock driving over halfway. Vale going with him, but Pinnock's really quick. Vale puts his foot in. That's a really good tackle from Harvey Vale too, because that could easily have been a yellow card if he'd got it wrong. Cleared away from Alonso up to Soon-Sup Bell. Did well to win the header. Didn't drop for Vale. It dropped for Janssen instead. Vale with a touch in his back, and Janssen goes down holding his shin.
So, is he given the free kick on that? Okay, that's just say, I think it's a weak free kick that he's got lucky there. He's got very lucky.
Here's Beck. 7 minutes to go till half-time. 0-0 is the score. Saul put his foot in to win the ball from Baptiste in midfield. Now here's Mbeumo. He gives it to Henry. Henry down the line for Mbeumo. Too much on it for him. Visser gave chase, but it went straight through to Kepa.
Just watching Sarr there. Mbeumo has made a run. Sarr's body shape. Got shoulders to the player. You've got to open his shoulders up. You've got to see the ball and the man square on it. That's a better pass. He's not aware Mbeumo is in, but in the end it's kindly gone back to Kepa, and we've still got possession.
More goals to tell you about. Leicester now 3-1 up on Liverpool. James Maddison, the latest scorer in that, and it's goals in, what have we got here? 3 in 5 minutes between Spurs and West Ham. 2-1 to Spurs. I'll tell you the goal scorers in a minute, because here comes Chelsea with Alonso inside the penalty area. Moved back out of the box to give it to Barkley. Now Simons, Azpilicueta on the overlap. Simons couldn't resist the shot. Got good power on it, but straight down the throat of Fernandez.
Don't mind that at all. Vale's done brilliantly on this left-hand side. Really, he's growing into this game, having a bigger influence. Lovely 1 and 2 touch, uses the sole of his foot again. Comes out to Simons. Azpilicueta just gives him a little bit of space. The overlapping run on the outside. He uses him by not using him. Decides he's done the shot. I don't mind that at all. On the 40th minute, going in at half-time. There's not been that many shots on target. Have a dig. In the end, the quality and the power of the shot was not really going to be enough that's going to beat Fernandez, but I don't mind that.
2-1 to Spurs then. Bergwijn put them ahead, Bowen equalised, and then Lucas Moura made it 2-1. Those goals all coming in a 5-minute spell. Here come Brentford with Mbermo. Can he pick out a pass here? Oh, he had a shot instead at Kepa. And really, it should have been Spain. Actually, it was Mbermo in the middle. It was Rico Henry who had burst down the wing, fancied a goal for himself, the wing-back. Didn't get his head up and see his striker, and Kepa made the save.
Well, it's a straight, it's a ball that's over the top. Simon's there, just does enough to make sure he doesn't give away a penalty. Because if he puts a tackle in, he's giving away a penalty. Does enough just to put him off. In the end, he should, I think, square that, Matt. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, absolutely, especially for somebody who doesn't score very often. Corner left-hand side then will be taken by Matthias Jensen. And it comes into the near post, headed away by Saul. Chance for a cross again for Janelt. We feign to turn inside Soonsup Bell. Oh, and he looked to work it through for Beck, but he couldn't get there, and Soonsup Bell from right back is able to smash it down the field and out of harm's way.
Yeah, 4 minutes till half-time. Not suggesting for 1 second that we're hanging on, but I do get the sense that Brentford's tails are up a little bit more than ours. And they're looking to end this first half slightly stronger than we are. 1 or 2 Chelsea players perhaps blowing. It's been a decent first half. I'll give it any more than that.
Well, I'm not surprised the Chelsea players are blowing. You've got the likes of Kovacic and Chalobah, who aren't particularly fit. You've got 3 teenagers who will be pumped full of adrenaline and probably absolutely exhausted already, if not certainly tomorrow morning. It'll be interesting to see how many of the 5 subs available to him Thomas Tuchel uses here. I guess he's thinking the big names will just come on in extremis, Jay, so he'll be wanting to keep them for Boxing Day, but if we're 1-2 goals down with 10-15 minutes left, you might think, well, this is a situation that needs rescuing, and here come Mason Mount and Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, that's not what he wants to do, but it's what he can do. It's off the bench. You know, a half-time is looming even. The header comes back from Simons back to Kepa. Look, there's been not much to choose between the 2 teams. There's been very little in front of goal. They've had the better chance. Certainly the header that goes into Kepa's hands early on should be 1-0. The second one, not convinced that was a difficult chance because of the lack of pace, but we've offered more without really offering more. You know, we've been good until their final third. And again, another example, Ross Barkley in the final third. Get bodies back, look at the fight, look at the shape of the team. Very well disciplined, very well organised, very well coached. Tough to break down.
Here's Kovacic, left-hand side. Again, so congested.
They've got every man back there.
In from that, and a free header for Harvey Vale to score in his debut. He's put it straight at the keeper, about 8 yards out. Brilliant cross from Azpilicueta. And Vale, well, he probably should have scored.
Well, yes, should at least. Well, he hits the target, which is the least you should do. It's a bit of an apology of a header. It's a brilliant ball in. I've seen many of that to Morata from the cross from Azpilicueta. Vale gets to the right area. I think all that Vale's thinking there is hit the target. Make sure I hit the target. In doing so, he goes safe. It's a comfortable save. Very similar, in fact, almost identical, I would say, to the first one that we saw for Brentford.
A little bit further out in Harvey's defence, but yeah.
Yes, but same rules apply. Hit the target. You know, get good contact, make the goalkeeper work. Alonso's done superbly well on that left-hand side, by the way. He's eluded 2 challenges, and he's escaped. Almost a trap where he's from left to right. He's trapped. Manages to wriggle away from Canos. It is, and win Chelsea a really dangerous free kick.
It's a harsh one, that, looking at it again. Canos got something on the ball.
Does he get something on the ball, does he? Let's have another look.
It's right by the dead ball line. Well, it's one of those, from one angle, it looks harsh, from the other, you can see why he's given.
Do you know what it is? He's wrong side, Canos. That's the problem he's got. Once you make a tackle from wrong side, and the attacker goes down, the referee's almost certainly going to give it against you. Chance.
Chelsea scored bang on half-time at this end of the ground in the league game here. Not going to do it with a free kick like that from Ross Barkley, which went straight at Shandon Baptiste. And then Vale made what I thought was a good challenge on Mbermo, but the referee feels otherwise and gives a free kick and a yellow card to Harvey Vale.
Well, Ross Barkley has done him no favours whatsoever here. He just spoke about the chance to get a free kick in a good area, you know, and the Vale's had to dive in, and Mbermo's gone down, and you know, it probably is a booking, but because we've committed so many men forward and what's a really good chance, that free kick has not beaten the wall. You've almost put your mate in trouble.
Only 20 seconds of stoppage time at the end of the first half there. Chelsea's kids doing a decent job here. The best chances of the game have gone to Brentford, but Vale right at the end of the half with Chelsea's most significant opportunity of the match. That after Vista should have scored early on. But at half-time in the Carabao Cup quarter-final at the Brentford Community Stadium, the score is Brentford 0, Chelsea 0.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, first half finishes 0-0, goalless at the Brentford Community Stadium. Good half, good showing though for Chelsea, though, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with Harvey Vale. I'm impressed with some of the boys. I feel like the performance it's not a bad one. There's not that much that's happened. Brentford have probably had the better of the chances, but it's a decent watch altogether. It's a very well balanced match, and I'd say we've had more of the possession, and Brentford probably had 2 good chances. We've had 1 very good chance that fell to Harvey Vale, but other than that, it's a decent watch.
That's been a decent watch, and it feels like one of them games as well where it's going to be a little moment. You know, we've said that quite a lot, but Brentford are sitting quite deep, asking questions of Chelsea. And, you know, even there was a chance right at the end there, Harvey Vale, a really good delivery from Azpilicueta from the right-hand side, and it's a good header. It comes at him quite quickly. I think probably looking at it, he's got more time than he realises. But again, you don't expect to have that amount of time in the 18-yard box, and it's unfortunate that the goalkeeper gets down and makes a good save.
Yeah, I don't think Tuchel will be too upset with that performance. I don't think the team talk will be that fiery because, like Dan said, we've controlled the possession, we've created a few chances. The young players that are in the team have grown into the game as well. So I think it's unfortunate that Vale actually got a yellow card in the last few minutes because he's really grown into it, and I think that might play a part in how many minutes he plays after the second half. But apart from that, I think it's been a good watch. Yeah,
absolutely. It could be a goalkeeper's night tonight, couldn't it? A good showing in the first half from our goalkeeper Kepa. Some social media reaction to that coming in on Twitter, of course. Kepa, abracadabra. That's good. That I'm surprised no one's used that before. I quite like that. Kepa in cup competitions, prime Gigi Buffon. Yeah, I like that. And this one as well. He's a little Spider-Man.
Just a little one.
Yeah, just a little one. Man of the match is Kepa already. Yeah, he's been brilliant. I mean, he's been fantastic all season long. You know, it started in the Super Cup where he is the penalty saving hero. Yeah. So obviously he got us through 2 cup competitions already with 2 lots of penalty saves. He seems to just enjoy this cup competition, enjoy the responsibility of being one of the more senior pros and being one of the ones to rely on.
Yeah, I think it's a confidence thing as well. I feel like he comes into these games knowing that they're his to command and his to control. He's won 2 penalty shootouts for us, 3 this season if you include the Super Cup. So he's had a very good season, especially considering he's not our #1 goalkeeper. Had a very good season, very good half there. He's made some important saves. It's just about kind of transforming it into, you know, league performances and being extremely reliable when he's called upon in the league as well. But yeah, I've been very impressed. We've needed him today. We could have conceded a couple of goals.
Absolutely, and also, you know, with the looming African Cup of Nations as well, Edouard Mendy obviously going over Senegal. Kepa's going to be relied upon again, you know, and he's a goalkeeper that whenever he's been given the opportunity under Thomas Tuchel has been exceptional. Even counting back to the tail end of last year, there was a game away at Barnsley in the FA Cup where he makes a terrific save where it's 0-0, and again, something like that changes the whole course of the season. He's been fantastic whenever called upon, and when he does get these opportunities, it's a confidence boost for him as well because, you know, he knows that he's playing well.
Yeah, he's grown in confidence so much over the last few months, and I think him seeing the players trusting him, seeing Tuchel trusting him in these type of games as well, and the fact that he's been able to be our saviour at points, I think that's been really good for him because there was a lot of pressure on him, and I think that now that pressure's kind of eased off him a little bit. Obviously, in goal you're always going to have that pressure, but knowing that your players trust you in those situations, and knowing that if you're called upon, that we know you're going to answer, it's great for him.
Really is. Another player that we've been ever reliant on is Mateo Kovacic. Good to have him back. Noel makes me feel more comfortable in possession of the ball like Kovacic. He's so good, isn't he? Just so calm. We miss Kovacic so much, man. Blessed to have him back. And this one as well. So good to see Kovacic back. We've missed his drive. That's exactly it, isn't it, Dan? Because he's got that ability to pick the ball up and for want of a better phrase, it's a very football cliche, is break the lines, where he picks the ball up and he can make things happen. He drives. He wants to get on the half turn and do things. He's a very elegant footballer.
Yeah, very elegant. He's Mr. Press Proof. When that ball comes out from the defence to him, if you press him and you're a couple yards off, you may as well forget about it, because he is going to skip you. And then once he gains his momentum, he just catches everyone wrong-footed, and he'll drift past 2 or 3 and play a pass. Such a good ball carrier. And you need it sometimes when you've got teams that are very set. You can't always pass through them. You need someone to pull one of them out of position, and all of a sudden you can start scattering all the pieces. So, yeah, I think we definitely have missed him in the last few weeks. Luckily, now we have him back. We've got to keep him fit. But yeah, he's such an important part of this team. I'm sure that the win percentage with him in it is
very high.
Is a big difference when he's in the team to when he's not in the team. So yeah, he's very important.
Like Dan's saying, Sam, as well, potentially, we've got to be patient in a lot of games this season. It's proving more and more like a frequent need to be patient and just wait for those breakthroughs. And when you've got a player, not only the ability on the ball of Mateo Kovacic, but also the experience and the composure to go, if I've got to wait, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to play that extra ball unless it's on, unless it's there. But then you give him half a yard and he'll thread it, and then all of a sudden, game changes. He's got everything. Yeah,
he's so calm, collected when he gets the ball, and I think him and Saul have actually played quite well together. I think Sal's getting the ball in the middle and then finding Kovacic in those half spaces where he can drive on and find Alonso or find Harvey Bell who's dropping deep. But yeah, his decision making in those areas is something that we've definitely missed. And like you said, he's experienced and he's know how to, if Brentford are having a period when they're on the ball, he's going to slow it down a little bit and then he's going to raise it again, beat 2 or 3 players, build the team confidence, and that's something that you always need.
It's one of those players as well, Dan, where whenever he's in the side, you see the link up this having with Harvey Vale as well on that left-hand side of the midfield area, and whenever you've got the ball in a tight position, you almost don't need to look up. You know he's going to be there. He's always going to be an option, regardless of where he is. He wants the ball. He wants to be in those tight spaces. And not that you don't get this from elite footballers, but he's one of those where whenever the situation, wherever the play is, he's an option. He wants the ball. He wants to be in charge of it.
It's a midfielder's instinct to always be like, where can I next pick up this ball and affect play or stop a break or whatever it is. So whenever you see Alonso kind of when it looks like he's potentially running into alleys and he checks back out, who's the first one there? It's always cover. Whenever Barkley does it, who's the first one there? It's always cover. He wants to receive, send it back over there, and he's got this brilliant thing of following his pass, where he'll put it out there and he'll just jog over because he knows in around 10 seconds this could be back at his feet to do it again. So yeah, it's just instinctive stuff that he does, that he's learned playing the game over the years, and it's why he's one of the best midfielders in the world.
You talk about that composure we see at Kovacic. The 3 younger players have been so composed as well. I think they've all had little moments, haven't they, already? You know, Jude Soontup-Bell's he's quite difficult up there against Pinnock, who's a big commanding, imposing centre half, but he's done really well to hold the ball up when he's needed. The link-up play's been excellent. There's a tackle that Xavier Simons did on the right-hand side.
Really important.
Really important. Harvey Vale's been brilliant as well. In terms of the manager, he's probably going to be thinking, I'm really pleased, actually, because not only have they not looked out of place, but they've all had a real impact on the game already. Yeah,
and there's obviously going to be moments in the game where you have a misplaced pass or the ball comes up to you as Soontup-Bell as a striker and you don't get it and you're going to be frustrated. But I think the composure that they've been able to show, and when they do get the ball in the final third, they've been playing some intricate passes that we've seen, almost getting a few opportunities from that. And that's obviously something that they've learnt playing together for so long. And even just Simmons out there as well, he's been isolated a few times and he's taken to it so well, and that's just only going to build their confidence.
Completely, and that's exactly it, isn't it? It's 45 minutes, but it's a big 45 minutes because if something goes wrong in the first 10 or 15, that can break a player. The fact they've had a good out in the first 45 minutes they look so composed and so calm on the ball. And we're talking about 17 and 18-year-olds, players that their first showing is away to a Premier League side for a place in the final four of a domestic cup competition. But they're taking it in their stride like it is another PL2 game.
Yeah, they've been brave, they've been tenacious. One of the biggest differences of whenever I've spoken to academy players is they say there's a big difference in strength between the men's game and the under 18s game, but they're all getting stuck in, barging the men all over the place. So it's good, they're fearless and they're playing with such confidence. And obviously not everything's come off yet, but they have to keep probing, keep track. This is part of being a young player or an attacking player. You keep going. Eventually, one of these things is going to work for you.
Well, no longer is he the latest addition to the Matchday squad. Trevor Chalobah now a regular. Chalobah playing like Thiago Silva right now. Ain't that a coincidence? Chalobah reads the game so well defensively. Plays like he has 10 years of experience. And this one as well. Chalobah controls the football and moves in. William Gallas. Bit of a throwback there. Bit of a throwback, that one. He has stepped into that now. He stepped into that. I don't want to say experience because, again, he's still very young and only sort of a handful of appearances for the Premier League side. But he's moving like he's a mature, experienced player that's coaching younger players through the game. And again, for a player that's only recently made the step up to the first team, looks just so comfortable. Yeah,
and it's a credit to him, to be honest, because he probably didn't expect himself to get this many opportunities at the beginning of the season, but he's been growing game in, game out. He's showing a great decision maker when he's on the ball, and I think even when we have come under pressure and they've been getting a few crosses in, he's always been there to head it out or getting that last-ditch tackle, and he's just... The way he reads the game, I think learning from Thiago Silva and Rudiger and Aspie is probably the best teachers that you can get in the game right now. So the fact that he's able to do that and Tuchel's trusted him to be in the middle of the three is definitely going to help with his confidence.
Completely right. And again, you do rely on players like him now as well, don't you? He's a first-team regular. So in games like today, when the squad is feeling the effects of injuries or illness or whatever, you look at someone like Trevor and you think, I need you to get through today, especially after... taking a knock at the weekend and everyone getting a little bit worried that maybe he's another one that adds to the list. The fact that he started, the fact he's looked so assured, so composed, so calm, you want him to get minutes under his belt, but also you want him to all come through unscathed. That's another big thing, isn't it? Yeah,
of course. So, and the good thing about youth is it generally doesn't take knocks that badly and it doesn't, have muscle injuries as much as an older player. But he's been, a revelation this season. He really has. I don't think any of us expected him to break through quite like this. And now you look at him in that squad and he's the one that, even though he's a kid, doesn't look out of place. He's one of the senior players in terms of experience on that pitch. So, look, he's played excellently. Look at the three teachers that he's got, Rudiger, Aspie and Thiago Silva. You honestly could just take a little piece from all of them and you become the perfect centre-back. Just more of the same. Hopefully he gets through unscathed and gains some experience and it's a very fast learning curve.
The versatility as well from Trev, the fact that we've already seen him play as a double six, he's playing in the middle of the three today, he's played on the right-hand side of the three as well, he's played right wing-back I think when he came on a few weeks ago for a little while, played right-back anyway in a four. So you add that to it and then all of a sudden the shape can evolve and can change. If you've got Xavier Simons, you want to push him on the right-hand side. Aspie can almost play as a right wing-back, knowing that Trevor can do two. He can play right centre-back or in the middle of a three or the right of a three. So when you've got that within the camp, you can almost sort of, expose areas within the game without making changes. And that's a big positive that Tuchel knows he's got players on the pitch that can do a number of roles.
Yeah, and it's a credit to the coaches at Cobham and how they're trained coming through the systems because, like we said multiple times, they're trained to be able to play not just one or two positions well, but you should be able to slot into different areas. We've seen Vale drop deep. We've seen Susan Bell as well. He's drifting wide and he's trying to take on players. And those attributes are only going to help the team and just help you also get better because they're quite young. They probably don't know their best position just yet. So if they're doing so well in multiple positions, it's going to be great for Tuchel.
It looks like a double change at half. I'm not quite sure who's being replaced yet, but it looks like Jorginho and Christian Pulisic are going to be entering the fray. So perhaps, Thomas Tuchel making sure that we get minutes in players and we don't risk too many players. There might be, again, depends on who comes off, but if one's Mateo Kovacic, for example, maybe that was always in the plan tonight. You do have to take that into consideration, don't you? I suppose there is a game on, but at the same time you have to manage players because the health of footballers at the moment, especially, has to be the highest priority.
Especially when someone's coming back from injury as well. So I would imagine one of those would be Mateo Kovacic. Yeah, you've just got to be very careful with who gets how many minutes. We've got such a busy schedule, and you never know who's going to be available or not available in the coming days. So, yeah, get them off, wrap them in cotton wool. Everyone else who's going, I mean, it's Jorginho and Pulisic just coming on, so they're going to cause a lot of problems for Brentford anyway. So, yeah, hopefully, luckily everyone's able to get off the pitch, hopefully, with no injuries.
The same point that we were making about Trevor a second ago is the same for Christian Pulisic. You know, he's played as a 9, he plays as a 10, he's played wing back, left hand side, right hand side both times as well already this season. So he's another one. You bring him on and he's an answer, isn't he? He's an answer to a question that you don't quite know what the question will be just yet, but you know that you've got Christian Pulisic who is an answer for it.
Yeah, and he'll be hungry to get in on the goals as well. He's had a few opportunities in the last few games that he would be wishing that went in and would have changed that, his confidence, you know, the pressure that he puts on himself because of how good he is and what he expects from himself. So, yeah, I think it will be good for him to get minutes and take a few players on and hopefully be the match winner.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Fantastic, isn't it, boys? Good work. Half-time is about to finish up, so let's pass you over back to our commentary team with Jason Cundy and Matt Davies-Adams on right here on the Fifth Stand Up.
You can feel it. The preparation. The thrill of anticipation. Because now, it's time. Time to go. Time to play. Time to win. With Trivago and Chelsea FC.
Thanks, Joe. Well, Mateo Kovacic is one of those players who is going off so Jorginho can come on. We will assume that is because he was starting a game for the first time since October, so that feels like sensible planning from Thomas Tuchel and his team. He was loath to play N'Golo Kante for 90 minutes on Sunday. So he's only given Kovacic 45 here. We'll wait and see what that does in terms of formation. We're just waiting to see also who Christian Pulisic is coming on for. Pulisic, who played as a central striker at the weekend. Let's see where he goes on now. No changes for Brentford, so they have Fernandes in goal, Pinnock, Janssen and Beck as a back three. Canos and Henry are their wing backs. They have Jensen Janelt, who's on a yellow, and Baptiste in midfield. Visser and Burmo are their front two. We'll confirm the Chelsea team shortly. Jason, what's Thomas Tuchel been saying to those players for the last 15 minutes?
Well, I think it's not been the best display. It's not been the worst either. You know, both sides have had good chances. It really should be 1-1 based on chances created. We've dominated the ball largely. They are looking to spring that trap, which they've done or tried to do 3 or 4 times, and 1 or 2 times they've managed to get in, and I think it's like, keep doing what you're doing, be very mindful of what they're up to. What you don't want to do is get in a position where you overcommit and you get done on a sucker punch just from a sloppy pass inside their final third, and they get an overload on the left-hand side and they do us, and that would make me feel real, you know, come away feeling pretty lousy in all honesty. No, it's been a pretty even game. The game is there to be won for both sides. I'm guessing both managers said something very similar.
Here's Pulisic finding Jorginho. It would appear that it's Jude Soonsup-Bell who is the other player who's given way. So Bell's a bit more advanced now. Pulisic again through the middle. It means that Chelsea have Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Chalobah and Sarr at the back. Simons, Jorginho, Saul and Alonso, and then Vale, Barkley and Pulisic. And here is Vale inside the penalty area, back to goal. Janssen at his back too. So he went back out looking for Alonso, who couldn't get there ahead of him, Burmo, and Burmo's just giving it straight back to Chalobah on halfway.
Yeah, I think Vale's done very well actually. The bits, you know, there's not been a lot he's had to do, but in the bits that he's had to do, I think he's done very, very well.
How will they'll be feeling then coming off at half-time? A couple of moments, but not too much for him. That'll be a difficult one for him to take, maybe. It
is a tough one, and you know, this is the school of hard knocks, you know, and first-team football is. No one's going to, you know, it's tough. He's done nothing wrong. I'm looking at that first half performance, and I can't honestly say I look at that performance and say he should come off, right? But the game's in the balance, and he's got to do something to try and win it. And he's got a £70 million player on the bench that he can change and perhaps to win the game. That's what he's done, and there's nothing more to it than that.
Yeah, and Jutsu is about 17 and wasn't expecting to play in this game a couple of days
Let's have a little bit of balance about that. You're absolutely right, Matt. Let's have a bit of balance there. I don't think he's done nothing wrong, the boy.
Here's Mbermo crossing, or Vissa rather, crossing one, looking for Mbermo back post. In the end, it just landed on the roof of Kepa's net. 2.5 gone second half. Goalless here.
Just said, you asked me in the first couple of minutes, let's not give the ball away in their final third and get done on a sucker punch on the kind of almost, that was that description that I was fearing. They got down the right-hand side on this occasion. In the end, it was just a lack of quality of the cross that wasn't equal to Ross. He's got. Tell you what, that's a poor decision from Ross. You get caught in the edge of your box. He's got lucky. If you're coming towards your own goal, you're back to play, you don't know what's behind you, you cannot have a second touch. You simply can't. And he's done that. He's got lucky there. Got really lucky.
Here's Alonso left-hand side as Chelsea attack. Eventually lost possession. Janelt then moves it up toward Baptiste, and then it's played forward looking for Mbermo, but he can't get the touch that will go all the way through to Kepa.
One of those, it was a nearly moment for them. You can hear the crowd go intake of breath. That if the pass is a little bit more accurate and Mbermo takes it in his stride, you never know, but Chelsea on the other side.
Barkley's not having a good game, he's just misplaced the
pass. It's such a bad pass that it's not, again, do you know what, it's someone of Ross's ability and capabilities, it's not difficult, man. That's what you look at. Is that a hard pass? No, it's not. It's just underhit it, not accurate. It's nowhere near the target and he's underhit, asking for all sorts of trouble.
Cleared away by Fernandez, the Brentford goalkeeper, out towards Canos, but Alonso got a toe on it. Good touch from Harvey Vale then, and he linked up with Saul, who couldn't quite play it through for Pulisic. Picked up by Chalobah on halfway. Certainly Harvey Vale has done his cause no harm.
Very well, the boy. Done very, very well.
There's Jorginho, now Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta out to Barkley. Azpilicueta then comes back in field for Chalobah.
So Ross has got such a lovely way. Just watch the way he received that ball there on the half turn, and he's got such a lovely way when he receives it at times. You know, he's an intelligent footballer. He's got a lovely, balance on the ball.
Here's Azpilicueta playing the ball into the penalty area, headed away by Janssen before it could reach Pulisic, and then Azpilicueta volleys it all the way back to Kepa. That's the frustration, isn't it? If you couldn't pick out a positive attribute, it would almost be easier to deal with. But when you've seen him on his good days,
he's a lovely footballer to watch. He receives the ball. He's got, it's the occasions the two that I've highlighted in the second half, and that's the reason I'm highlighting his good points, is because he receives the ball with his back to play, so his back to their goal. He doesn't know what's behind him, on the edge of our box. He cannot receive it like that. He's better than that. Then he gives the ball away, but then you get him in the half turn. It's like we've got an exciting play on our hands.
Here's Azpilicueta on halfway, threading it into Pulisic. Lovely take from Pulisic. Got away from Janel, gave it left-hand side for Alonso. Alonso and Saul making a run down the line. Ball over the top for Saul. Couldn't find the cross, and Henry just guides it behind, or Pinnock rather guides it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, nice run from Saul from that deeper midfield area in support, and it's a chippy, lofty, bouncy ball, and he never looks like he's going to get it under control, and because he's always trying to get the ball on his first touch, Pinnock, who's read the whole thing, has just got his body between the ball and the byline, and it's gone out for a goal kick. Just a close-up there of Tony.
Yeah, didn't run through the two benches for you. Chelsea have made 2 of their 5 allotted changes. They've still got Bettinelli, Hall, James, Kante, Mount, Rudiger and Webster on the bench. The replacements for Brentford: Cox, the goalkeeper, Fors, Godos, Norgard, Anyeka, Pert Harris, Stevens, Thompson and Ivan Toney. One of the 13 players who tested positive for COVID, because we don't know how serious the cases were, but the fact that Toney isn't out there would suggest that maybe he's not fully fit. 7 gone second half, still 0-0. Get the feeling that 1 goal might be enough to win this game if it doesn't take penalties to do so.
Yeah, I reckon first goal wins this.
Still 3-1 to Leicester at Liverpool, 2-1 to Spurs at home to West Ham in the other two quarter-finals, looking to join Arsenal in the last four. The teams playing tonight. A London-heavy last day to the competition. As Jorginho playing a short pass to Azpilicueta and getting it back. Jorginho then comes out to Malang Sarr. Sarr out to the wing. Now Alonso. Here's Vale. Overcomes his cross. Oh, a good ball as well. Oh, and then it was almost an own goal. Simons has picked it up. Play still going on. Might have come off Pulisic that. Anyway, here's Azpilicueta back to Barkley, who has a go straight down the throat of Fernandes. Almost from nothing, Chelsea nearly took the lead.
Almost from nothing, absolutely. Nah, it's just a cross. It's a decent ball, nothing more. Everyone lets it go. In the end, it ricochets off. Is it who is that comes off, Matt? I can't quite see.
It was Rico Henry.
He's a lucky boy. The keeper, it was never going in. The goalkeeper should really save it. Nonetheless, a little bit more pace on the cross. That ends up in the back of the net.
Rico Henry, by the way, has played against Chelsea in this competition before, for Walsall, back in 2015, the game that is largely remembered for Papi Djilabodji's fabulous debut, that glorious Chelsea career that he had, which lasted, I think, 90 seconds was the official time.
I remember doing the commentary on that particular game.
Here's Azpilicueta ready to take a throw in. Down the line it goes for Pulisic. Pulisic trying to turn away from Beck, but again, so many Brentford bodies back there. It's broken for Jorginho. This is Chalobah now.
Yeah, this is good domination from Chelsea at the moment. You know, they've had one furrow going forward, Brentford, but other than that, right now, and introducing Jorginho and Pulisic, it does give you a little bit more quality and possession, and you're seeing this in front of us now, Matt. You're seeing the ball retention, you're seeing the movement, seeing the perhaps one or two little errors that we nearly saw an own goal, but right now this is Chelsea very much on top in this game.
There's Vale, little touch back looking for Pulisic. Really done well with his back to goal, particularly Harvey Vale tonight. Couldn't link up with Pulisic that time. Canos eventually clears it away. Down the line from Burmo to chase, but Chalobah's able to get there first and work it back to Kepa. And Kepa sweeps it out first time to Azpilicueta.
Yeah, good pace from Chalobah there, and he closes that space down on the left-hand side very well. But again, evidence of what we were saying. Chelsea give the ball away. Now Brentford are just looking a little bit more direct, as opposed to that counter-attacking football.
Well, good ball in from Alonso, and sliding in was Barkley. Difficult one to get a decent connection on. He couldn't quite manage that. Easy save for the goalkeeper.
Great run from Ross. It's a brilliant ball in. It's a difficult chance, this. It's a brilliant ball from Marcus. He's done as much as he can, Ross, to get as much on it as he can. He's stretching all the time, but Chelsea now dominating the ball. And what we were seeing in the first half was Brentford looking to counter-attack in a slightly deeper, different way. Now they're looking to be a little bit more direct, go a little bit longer. And it's kind of harder to build that count. It's not counter-attack anymore. It's a looking for that opening over the top, a little bit like Spurs did against Liverpool at the weekend. Looking for that pace, that long ball.
After then, chipping one, looking for Saul. Too much on that. Fernandes able to grab it.
Simon Toney is very much. Maybe there's a shift in the way they're looking to play Brentford. Maybe they are starting to look a little bit more direct. Maybe they are start to build and think about either Toney coming off the bench.
Fernandes playing it out right-hand side. Here's Janssen, Swedish international, Pontus Janssen.
Good pressure this from Chelsea. Chelsea filling the gaps. They're going to have to go a little bit longer with Brentford, whether they want to or not. And the space in the middle of the park has been filled very well by Chelsea, but Brentford have managed to keep possession well.
Baptiste finding Beck. He goes back to Fernandes, and he played a risky pass to Beck, but he just about got it.
Did well. They've done really, really well there, Brentford. Really built well for the back in what was a very, very tight situation.
I think they're going to be a model club for lots of other teams for the next few years of a similar size, aren't they? Because not just the way they play, but the way they've built the club and the way they've attacked the Premier League. Look at the difference between they and, say, Norwich, and it's night and day. Now here's Rico Henry putting a crossing, came off Azpilicueta behind for a corner.
Really, really good play that from Brentford. Now Chelsea Chelsea haven't done anything wrong. You know, we squeezed in the areas where you'd expect to squeeze. You got the shape right, but credit to them. They went back, they went forward, they managed to 1 and 2 touch, build their way out from the back, and eventually work it onto this left-hand side. And eventually, as you said there, Matt, they've managed to win themselves a corner. Really well played.
And will be taken from the near side, the left. It's been worked short. Now Jensen gets it back, plays it to the edge of the box. Baptiste helps it in. Kepa's come through a crowd, got a good fist to it outside the penalty area, but Barkley's lost out to Mbermo, and then he fouled him. Very soft, just a little arm on the shoulder, tugged him down. Barkley throws his arm up in exasperation, but it's a free kick in a position of promise.
Yeah, not convinced with Kepa's punch. Not convinced that he's dominated his area there. I don't. That's not a free kick. That's just such a weak free kick. Like, and the referees give it. It's not a free kick, but Kepa's not really helped Barkley. He gets a decent fist on it. Not a height, no distance.
Free kick is 23, 24 yards from goal on the far side, the right. Not a great angle for a shot unless you're a left footer. Kepa organising his wall. Just before the hour mark, Jensen looks as though he's the favourite to strike this. Baptiste is there too. Jensen's going to try and pick out a colleague rather than go for goal. Got a runner to his right as well. Andre Mariner wants to sort out some pushing and pulling in the box. Floated in by Jensen toward Janssen. And Chelsea get a free kick as a result of that. And that was almost as bad of a free kick as Barkley's at the end of the first half.
I was looking at you. I was always saying, what happened there? I didn't see any free kick whatsoever. I wonder whether the referee has just thought about what he's given to Brentford. And I don't want a goal to be conceded like this because there's no VAR. It's easier for me to give a free kick the opposite way.
Amazing how often that happens, isn't it?
How it looks as the commentator's point of view, definitely.
Here's Saul out left-hand side for Alonso, just over halfway here. Still waiting for the first goal of the night, nearly an hour gone. Remember, straight to pens if we're 0-0 at 90. Here's Barkley inside the box, but near the dead ball line with Beck as his shadow. Barkley coming back up, out to Saul. Saul then plays it out left-hand side for Alonso. Alonso feigned across, gave it back to Barkley, edge of the box. He was looking for space to whip a shot, but he didn't find it, so he goes backward. Now Jorginho. Jorginho back for Chalobah. There's Barkley again. Turn away from Janel. He showed too much of it to him. And eventually they pump it through the middle looking for the run of Mbermo, and the bounce has beaten Azpilicueta first time, then he does really well to head it back to Kepa. If he meant that, it was outstanding, and Mbermo unlucky. Azpilicueta sticking to the task.
Bags and bags of experience in that situation, knowing he cannot allow the ball to continue to bounce, got to get something on it, got to take it off its trajectory. Superb defending that from Aspi. Brilliant. I saw in the paper today that Barcelona are interested in him. It doesn't surprise me because he's on a free at the end of the season. Huge amounts of experience, and right there you saw exactly what that brings to the table.
I think it'll be only after he leaves that we have a proper evaluation of his career. He's just played it to Simons, who was offside there, but for me, Azpilicueta is knocking on the door, top 10 all-time Chelsea players.
Would not disagree one little bit. He's won absolutely, in fact, he's won more than, he's won the whole lot.
Often as captain.
Super Cup, you know, that's something that eluded a number of players throughout our period under Roman.
More changes afoot here. Chelsea, I was going to say, bringing on more experience.
The big
comparatively.
Dogs, well, yes, big dogs in, yes.
Reece James and Mason Mount will be with us soon, so will Ivan Toney. It is a good night for Neil Bath and everybody at Cobham. 3 debutants, more academy boys will be with us soon. Trevor Chalobah on the ball now, of course, another of those. And here's Azpilicueta. Now Saul inside the centre circle. This is Malang Sarr. Sarr up to Bale. Bale finds Alonso, he cuts inside. And now Saul again plays it out to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta infield for Barkley. Azpilicueta then comes back to Chalobah. And Sarr stops, puts his foot on the ball, and then drives forward a couple of paces. Opposite up left-hand side for Alonso. Alonso flicks it down the line for Saul, who made a good run off the ball. Played it off Pinnock. It's come back his way, trying to shake off Canos. Here's Alonso again. This is Barkley now. Barkley looking for a give and go, stepping away from a couple of challengers. Jorginho gets the ball as it breaks to him near the halfway line. Back for Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta can cross here. Back to Jorginho instead. Jorginho across then to Sarr. Sarr goes out left-hand side for Alonso. Alonso back for Sarr once more. Again, Brentford with everybody back behind the ball. Chelsea trying to pick the lock that is their defence. Here's Azpilicueta crossing from deep, deflected on its way in, almost came for Vale. Sarr picked up the loose ball. Here's Barkley now. Good dummy from Andre Mariner as the ball goes out to Alonso. Doesn't want to shoot with his right foot. Has it on his left. Offers it up to Saul. Saul can cross in first time. Clipped it deep towards Simons. Azpilicueta heads it back in. Simons knowing that he's probably about to go off for Reece James, trying to win the ball back. Azpilicueta then heads it into midfield where Jorginho picks it up.
Good pressure this from Chelsea, very, very patient. You said picking it up. Beautifully put, Matt. Just making sure we do not give cheap possession away. Asking questions, moving them left to right. This is hard work for Brentford. They're having to shuffle across. At the moment, well organised. We've not managed to disrupt their shape of the 5-3-2. But the longer the ball stays in possession as it is, start maybe one or two down, maybe a bit of fatigue, maybe one mistake. That's all it takes.
Here's Simons crossing into the penalty area, deflected. Made it easy for Beck to get rid of it. Baptiste has done well to get it away from Azpilicueta. Simons almost brought him down. Jorginho did well. There was a foul in the middle of all that somewhere, and Brentford do get the free kick, and that should allow the changes to happen.
Yeah, Simons thought about it and tried to do it, and in the end, the free kick is not given away. And I think it may well have been Ross. We can't see it. In fact, it's immaterial because the substitution is now going to be made.
Double substitution for Brentford too. Mohamed Vissa, who missed that brilliant chance in the first half, is going to go off, so Ivan Toney can come on to take his place. 5 goals this season for Toney. He scored against Chelsea's under-21s in the EFL Trophy before, and Mads Sorensen came on as well. Just waiting to see who it is whose place he's taken. Here come those Chelsea changes. The end of Harvey Vale's night. Mason Mount comes on to take his place. And Reece James is also going to come on for Xavier Simons. Give us an appraisal of those two youngsters then, Jason.
Well,
Simons and Vale.
Do you know what? Vale has been probably the pick of the bunch, in all honesty. He looks very comfortable. He's got a lovely way about him. But Simons has done nothing wrong. You know, maybe didn't have as bigger impact. That doesn't mean to say that he hasn't had a decent game. I think the best compliment I can pay in fact, all of the lads that have played, the young lads, you can't honestly say they've looked out of place. You don't sit there and think, oh, he's got to come off, and any substitution there is going to be obviously to make the team better. But you know, well played, young men. You know, congratulations as well on the debuts. This is a tough club to make a debut for. Well done. You made your family and the Chelsea fan base very, very proud.
Christian Norgard also came on then for Vitaly Janelt. So Chelsea made 4 of their 5 permitted substitutions now. Just less than 25 minutes of the 90 to go.
Well, this side's starting to look a little bit more like a Premier League team now, isn't it? You know, that's looks offside. Looks a mile offside by the way he is. Yeah. So this side now is, and you look at the clock, Matt. I think what we're looking at is Tuchel navigating his way through the first hour. 0-0. Would have liked to perhaps not made those subs when he did, or if he was always had them in his mind, maybe hoping at 1-0 up. But ultimately, you can't criticise anything that's been done here. And like I said, those young boys have done exceptionally well.
So it's a front 3 now of Barkley, Pulisic and Mount. Azpilicueta hammers one into Baptiste and the ball goes out of play.
Played well, Aspi. Played really, really well, as you would expect. But you know, led. When you've got such a certainly younger players, an experienced team, you look for the big heads, the more experienced players to lead. Boy, has he done that. I think he's been outstanding. Chance here, that's a free kick, referee, and a booking.
For Sergi Canos for bringing down Marcos Alonso as he got inside of him and was just about to cross into the penalty area. Alonso with a smile on his face to enjoy playing up against Canos. Now he's got a yellow card against him.
Yeah, slots it between his legs, continues. No, he doesn't actually. I thought he's gone for the nutmeg. That's what he's gone for. Canos has closed his legs. In doing so, he's gone on the outside of his right leg. He's gone beyond him anyway. Canos has stuck his arm out, knows what he's doing. Free kick, yellow card in a dangerous area. And Reece James is probably the man at the football club you would want over this free kick. It's on the left-hand side. It's got a nice angle to bend it towards that far post. Marcus Alonso, Chalobah, Barkley, Pulisic, all towards that far stick.
Might even be tempted to have a shot here. And it comes from James. He did go for goal, fisted away by Fernandez, up into the air, dropped for Barkley. Barkley can have a shot. Oh, he sliced it wide. He says there was a deflection, but he knows that was a good opportunity. It is a corner.
Yeah, look, the goalkeeper's equal to it. He's had a shot there, Reece, straight at the goalkeeper, just as you said, double fists it away. In the end, the ball just bounces down. It takes a mini deflection. It is a corner, and it's going to be taken. Ross there has travelled over to take it. It's on the Chelsea's left. It's going to be an in-swing with the right foot from Ross.
3/4 of the way through the 90. Barkley's corner from the far side, the left, into the near post, looking for Saul to flick it on, but he couldn't get there. Mounts able to get to the ball ahead of him, Burmo, and goes back to James, who was minding the shot. Here's Mount again. Goes back to James again on halfway. Flick forward by Jorginho, left-hand side, looking for Mount. Too much on it, would have been offside anyway. Ball goes out for a throw.
Disappointing corner there from Ross. Trying to bend it in towards that. I think the most corners from the Premier League side are dreadful. It's just a, I said every side of the Premier League, they try to hit the perfect free kick. The amount of times that the ball was wasted. I'd rather overhit it than underhit it. And underhit, you've got no chance to get in the box.
Throw-in taken quickly by Brentford, looking to release Burmo, but Chalobah able to get it back to Kepa. Kepa goes long, trying to find Pulisic, but Janssen stopped him from jumping, and the ball runs all the way through to Alvaro Fernandez.
Pontus Janssen, Pulisic. It's a mismatch. It's like you jumping up against your kids trying to win a ball. That's
It's not Pulisic's natural game. Chalobah getting his head to it. And he's Kepa. Sweeps it up long toward Mount. And he was offside.
Cheap. See Mason's reaction there. A little disappointed in himself that he's managed to give a cheap free kick away.
Saman Ghoddos is going to be the next arrival for Brentford. You have to wait a second though, because they're going to take the free kick first. Inside the final 20 minutes, Brentford 0, Chelsea 0, League Cup quarter-final. Janssen with the free kick towards Tony, peeled off Azpilicueta but couldn't control it. Now he's putting James under pressure, and he's won it back off James as well. And over comes Rico Henry's cross, too high for Canos. He picked up right-hand side by Jensen. Jensen sends his delivery in, headed away by Sarr, and then flicked further clear by Alonso. Pulisic then looking to outrun Janssen. He's got a better chance of that, but Janssen had the ball and was able to get it back to Fernandez.
Both sides now looking a little bit more familiar with the Premier League side that you would expect to see. You've got 19, maybe 23 or 4 minutes of entertaining football, you would have thought. It's an open game. Both sides would prefer to win at 90. Of course they would. Of course they would. Penalties are always there as a buffer, if you like, or a bit of insurance, but you know, there's I would have thought that both sides now will fancy that the game is there for the taking. Chelsea more so than Brentford, but if you remember the league game earlier this season, around about this time, Brentford started to up the ante, and boy, were they desperately unlucky not to take at least a point out of that game.
They've got their big hitters on like Chelsea have too, so that will be the key for them, they will hope. Here's Jorginho, gets his toe to the ball and finds Barkley just over halfway. Barkley, runners ahead of him, stops and works it back to Saul. Saul goes left-hand side for Alonso. Now Jorginho again. Jorginho with Alonso out to his left. Alonso coming in off the wing, back in field for Jorginho again. Barkley, a little look over his shoulder. Barkley works it out to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta down the line for Reece James. James trying to find a little bit of space for a cross, didn't have any, so he went back to Chalobah. He moves it across for Sarr. Sarr 30 yards out, thought about a shot, decided to give it to Pulisic instead. But he lays it off for Alonso. First time cross hits Canos and spins behind for a throw.
Good pressure and probing again from Chelsea, but Brentford equal to it.
Now there's an opportunity for that Brentford change to happen, and it is a double change in fact. Rico Henry coming off. Frank Onyeka, the Nigerian, is one of the players coming on. Saman Ghoddos is the other, the Swedish-born Iran international. So changes are plenty, as is the way in this competition. Now Onyeka can make his way on. He'll take the place of Shandon Baptiste.
All managers now start to show their hand. Both managers, I should say, not all, but both.
Just over 15 minutes to go now. It's looking more and more likely that for the third time in as many League Cup ties, Chelsea are going to need penalties to get through here, unless they can make the breakthrough. Barkley. What a dreadful pass that was, looking for Mount in the middle, but only finding a Brentford shirt. Cleared away. Chalobah does really well to get ahead to it, but he's only found Tony, and Tony can't bring it under control. Chalobah slides in, and it's cleared away for a throw.
His midfield really helped me out there, because he's on his way back to goal, Chalobah, and he knows if he allows the ball to bounce, chances are Evan Toney can gallop and make the space up, and probably because he's got the momentum of the run, he might win that header. He's got to get it before it bounces. He does that. Now he's relying on help from his midfield. He gets that. Bit scrappy, but I thought overall that was quite a difficult situation to defend, that we dealt with it as best we could have done.
For another Brentford throw, about halfway inside Chelsea's half. Over on the far side, the right. Brentford, the highest scorers in this season's competition with 12 goals. One for them so far tonight.
Good tackle from Marcus. Marcus is asking for the yellow card. It's not, maybe a bit of retribution there from Marcus, but it's not. He can't win. He can't even see the ball. It's a throw into his chest canvas, and he's trying to win it. He's given away a rather silly free kick, in all honesty.
Which Jensen is presiding over. First time Brentford have faced the Premier League team in this season's competition, but he knocked out 4 of them last season en route to the semis when they were a championship outfit. Jensen over the free kick then. 75 minutes on the clock. 0-0 the score. Over it comes from Jensen. It's a good delivery as well. And Beck flung himself at it, but couldn't quite get the touch he was looking for.
Good delivery there. A quarter of a chance I'm going to give that, not half. He gets something on it. He's got a run. Looks like he's got a run on Reece. No, it's not even Reece, is it? Is it Reece? It's Marcus. He gets a run on Marcus.
Well, this is a surprise. We didn't think we were going to see N'Golo Kante tonight, but he is on for the final 15 minutes here to take the place of Ross Barkley. Well, I mean, he's not human, is he? So we know that a normal human shouldn't have played 90 minutes on Sunday rather, but this is N'Golo Kante, and that's the final Chelsea change.
You can absolutely make a shout there, but Chelsea are only one man, maybe 2, including the goalkeeper, but I won't for this conversation, away from Chelsea's best 11.
Well, a lovely turn from Kante straight into the action. Here he is again, edge of the penalty area, flicks it down the channel for Pulisic. Pulisic did well to keep it in, but couldn't find James. I guess the interesting thing about that, Barkley hasn't had his best night, but he has taken and scored penalties in this competition so far. You wouldn't necessarily have N'Golo down as one of your first 5 penalty takers, would you?
No. But maybe his thought process is, I don't want to go that far. So Sal's just picked up a cheap yellow card there, booking. I was saying how many players who might be out of Chelsea's best 11, and I've just seen Sal. Maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 players away from Chelsea's best 11 right now, and he's rolling the dice. 15 to go here. He's looking for this winner. Doesn't want to go to penalties. Of course, you don't want to go to penalties, but if necessary, you have to. Tony's got a chance down his left-hand side though, and that's what's gone with him.
Yeah, he's not far from the corner flag here, Tony. He's managed to wriggle away and get some space. Found the cross channel, has sliced it up into the air. Could end up anywhere, goes into the gloves of Kappa. As it stands, by the way, there will be 2-leg semi-finals for this competition. First one, first week of Jan. They are debating that, aren't they, with the FA Cup replays. You would think that they would scrap the second leg, given the fixture pilot that there's going to be for every club, not just Chelsea. Seems like an easy bit of space to find in the calendar. I suppose it depends who gets there, how many games they've played. Sarr clearing away, meanwhile. 12 minutes and a little more to play. Here's Jorginho. Up to Pulisic, went back to Jorginho. He played it long forward, looking for the run of Saul, but Fernandes came off his line and dealt with it. Out of play for a throw near half.
Yeah, Chelsea trying to build from their final third there. You got Pulisic playing a 1-2 with Jorginho inside our final third. Jorginho eventually plays a long ball over the top, but the keeper, Fernandes, is equal to it. It is going to be. There's been neither keepers had nothing to do with the second half.
Well, Kante's chipped the ball through, looking for Mount. He got too much on it though.
Yeah, Mount's made a little dinky run in, but it looks like he's coming short, and he's made a dart in between the two or the three centre halves. In the end, the ball from N'Golo is just overhit enough for the goalkeeper Fernandes just to gather it comfortably in the end.
Play now for a throw-in in Chelsea's right-back position. Just over 10 minutes to go here. 0-0 in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Elsewhere, it is now Liverpool 2, Leicester 3. Jota's pulled another goal back there. Spurs still 2-1 up against West Ham. This is Malang Sarr bringing the ball out of defence for Chelsea, playing it left-hand side for Alonso. Alonso up against Canos again. Tony back helping out too, or Baptiste rather. Or Onyeka rather, third time lucky. Here's Kante off for Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta out to Reece James, right-hand side. Kante edge of the penalty area, just got it stuck under his foot for a moment. Did brilliantly to win it back and find James. He puts it across the face of goal, first time, and Pontus Jansson slices it into his own net. And Chelsea take the lead with just over 10 minutes to go. The two substitutes, Kante and James, combining, and Jansson with a horror moment as far as Brentford are concerned. It's Chelsea 1, Brentford 0.
Well, it is a horror moment, but it comes from that N'Golo Kante. What quick feet this is. He gets the ball caught and stuck under his feet, drags it one way, goes the other. In the end, it's a cross from Reece. What's Jansson's doing? What's Pontus Jansson doing? He's going back towards his own goal. It's come off his shins. It's an uncomfortable, ugly-looking own goal. He's all over the place, doesn't know what's behind him. It's poorly cleared. Sometimes you can look at an own goal, Matt, and you say, I can see what he's thinking. No idea whatsoever. And you can tell by his reaction, he knows exactly what he's done with 10 minutes to go. What a gift.
Bit of quality from Kante and a hard, low-driven cross from James, forcing the error from Jansson. Chelsea finally have the breakthrough. 10 minutes from the semi-final. Jansson wants the ground to swallow him up. Brentford going to make another substitution, and they're bringing on Marcus Forss, who's got 5 goals in this competition. 4 of them came against Oldham here. He's on for Jensen, so that is a midfielder off and a striker on.
One thing I will say, Matt, is we've struggled to hold on to leads of late, haven't we? You know, whenever we've taken that lead, we've got noses in front, never really looked comfortable. Unconvincing is perhaps a very good word to use when we are in the lead. Now it's up to Brentford. The onus on get going for it's fine, 0-0. Sit there deep, have your 5, have your 3, have your 2. Can't do that anymore now. I just wonder now how this game is going to do it, because there is time. There's still 10 minutes, you would have thought, plus for this game to be turned around. And we saw the way that they ended the game against us in the league when it was 1-0 to Chelsea. Are we going to see something similar? The ball's given away cheaply there by Saul, but Chelsea win it back. And now you can see they're swarming up high up the pitch, Brentford.
Sarr does well to win a header against Mbermo. It's gone for Canos on halfway. Canos right-hand side, feeds it down the line from Mbermo. Forss and Tony in the middle here. Mbermo dispossessed by Saul. There's Alonso in for Jorginho. Now Kante will look to break the lines. He's fed it out right-hand side for Azpilicueta, going as fast as those 32-year-old legs will carry him down the right wing. Comes infield for Kante. Kante edge of the box, played it into the penalty area, flicked off the head of Beck. It's broken out edge of the box for Alonso. He's going to have a go here, hit it into a defender. Almost ran nicely for Mount. Instead, Jorginho has it now. And he goes out to Azpilicueta. Kante.
Good possession this from Chelsea. Brilliant break down the right-hand side from Asprey there, but Chelsea got enough bodies in support. Wasn't comfortable. Ball been given away a couple of times. Brentford winning it. In the end, the ball has come out this right-hand side, and N'Golo Kante just offering that another layer of just experience and just a bit of know-how that in games like this, he's won the lot. N'Golo, he's a World Cup winner. Just a bit of know-how there.
Used his bench brilliantly, hasn't he, Thomas Tuchel, in this game?
He's gone from what was you would have thought like an under-23 game, which has developed into a Premier League starting 11. That's how the team has looked throughout the course of this so far nearly 84 minutes. You're absolutely right. He's used it at the right time. The game has not forced him to make any decisions, like it has Thomas Frank. They've gone 1-0 down now. Now he's forced to make decisions. He's had to be proactive, if you like, or reactive, as if you like. We've seen Thomas be proactive throughout this 90 minutes.
Here's Jorginho finding Mount, look to slide it through for Pulisic. Oh, Pulisic's got there ahead of the goalkeeper, and it's a penalty to Chelsea. Got a little touch on it, Fernandes. On the ball, Pulisic did, and then Fernandes on to Pulisic, and that was a clear decision.
It's a penalty, Matt. It's a brilliant ball from Mason, but I've got to tell you, how he's got there, Pulisic, I've got no idea. He's not even second or third favourite. He puts the afterburners on. He catches Fernandes completely unawares. It's a penalty all day long, but it looks like a defender was going to cut out. Fernandes is going to get there. Brilliant play. Lovely ball from Mace, lovely idea, but credit to Pulisic to read the pass. Once the pass doesn't get there, can he then make a challenge or make an effort to get in front of the goalkeeper? He does that, and this to put the tie to bed.
Jorginho's last 27 goals for club and country have come from the penalty spot. Can he make it 28 and send Chelsea into the semi-finals? Fernandes looking to atone for his error. Here comes Jorginho. There was never any doubt, was there? Sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, into the bottom corner, and away to the Chelsea supporters he goes. The Blues are going through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. It's Brentford 0, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, so there's one man on the planet, or certainly in a blue shirt, you want to take a penalty right now. It's that man. Cool as you like. Big penalty. Don't be fooled by the scoreline, because if he doesn't score that, it lifts the crowd. It gives them 5 or 6 or maybe 7 or 8 minutes to get back into this. Jorginho puts this tie to bed. You would have thought, you would have hoped. Right now, waits for the goalkeeper to go one way. He goes the other. 2-0 Chelsea.
And Fernandes will be kicking himself in the same way that Pontus Jansson is. Chelsea found it so difficult to break through Brentford, and they've gifted them 2 goals in 5 minutes.
Without question. The Pontus Jansson one is the biggest head scratcher, because he's got himself into a nice area. There's no one behind him. I think he can actually he's rushed the clearance. He feels the pressure. You can tell that's what he's thinking. There must be what he's thinking. If he was to have a little look at rear vision mirrors on the side of his shoulders, he would have had a touch, brought it down, or maybe even just cushioned about the keeper, or maybe cleared it couple. He's rushed the clearance, come off his shin. It's amazing how the game is in. But you make the point there that the substitution that Thomas Tuchel has made, he's forced this. He's forced those errors. Good substitutions, used the bench really well. And now it looks like we're going to be into that semi-final.
Kappa clears away out, right-hand side looking for Azpilicueta. Ball goes out for a throw-in. 3.5 minutes to play. Well, it was a fixture that for a long time we thought probably wouldn't even happen. We thought it was going to be an inconvenience, as harsh as that sounds. But actually, Jason, if Chelsea can get out of this, A, in the semi-final, B, having kept successive clean sheets in the space of a couple of days, having been shipping goals for fun, we can look back on this period of adversity maybe and say, actually, it kick-started the season again. It's
a very good point, and adversity is absolutely the right word. You know, the amount of players we've got missing, whether it be COVID or injury or illness or whatever it may be, and the bench will tell you that certainly some of the players on the bench, yes, we have a strong bench, but it's the starting 11 he's been forced into that, and those players have not let us down one little bit. Still a bit of work to do. Do not want to consider it over just yet.
Well, here's Fours. Good chance for him to get a goal back here. Chalobah got something on him. Fours says it was a foul and a penalty. Andre Mariner doesn't think that.
You're just not getting a penalty for that, but it's a brilliant ball. I have to say, Chalobah's got caught going back to his own goal, ball over his shoulder. He's not really aware.
No, not enough in that.
There's not. No, there's not. And if anything was outside the box, he's just got caught stumbling. I think Thomas Frank will be honest enough. He's a very honest man. I have to say, I do like listening to what he's got to say both before and after matches. I think he'll be honest enough to say there's nothing there.
It's Thomas Tuchel's name which is ringing around the stadium, though. Kepa puts his foot through the ball. Really does feel this might be a restorative evening for Chelsea. Aston Villa on Boxing Day, and then Brighton on the 29th with Liverpool, the first game of the new year.
He's had a real bit of experience and class in the middle of a park, hasn't he?
Can take a ball from him out wide too. Just got caught under the feet of Pulisic, but he goes for goal anyway, and it drifts wide of the post.
Yeah, the quality that we've seen come off. Sorry, the quality that we've seen being introduced and the players that come off. There has been an upgrade. You know, and yes, you're right that Brentford have been perhaps architects of their own downfall. But the quality is there to be seen. It just feels a little bit more, as I said earlier, know-how, a bit more Jorginho in the middle of the park, that little pivot. You know, you've got N'Golo Kante just 10 yards higher up. You've got Pulisic, you know, who's recognises and get a shot away here. If it doesn't hit the target, at least it's going by for a goal kick.
Into the final minute of the 90 now. Bad. Well, including the half-time one, 10 substitutions. So I can't recall actually at any point seeing a physio on the pitch. The game's actually flowed really nicely. But it was attack versus defence for a long time, particularly in the first half. Here's Sarr. Now Alonso left-hand side. Infield for Mason Mount. Sarr again. Chelsea supporters bouncing away to the left.
We're going to bounce in a minute. I can hear just looking away to our right-hand side there. Some of them bounced a little bit early there. If I was going to any analysis on that, wait until everyone else around you starts to bounce.
Here's Pulisic on the turn, finding Saul. Saul goes out left-hand side. Here's Alonso. Didn't hear how much time was added for stoppages there. But Chelsea are all but through to the semi-finals. They might be about to get another goal here. Cross comes into the penalty area, too deep though for Kante.
Aspie, look at Aspie. Brilliant from Azpilicueta. Honestly, 32-year-old, 33-year-old captain, contract up at the end of the season. He's won absolutely everything, even though we're in the 91st minute. Chasing what was a lost cause at the beginning, manages to get himself goal side and then win the ball.
N'Golo Kante came on in the 76th minute. 10 minutes later, Chelsea were 2-0 up. 3 added minutes, and we've already had one of them now. Fascinating to see what Thomas Tuchel says to Lee Parker after the game and his view of this one, whether it's something which is a platform for the team to go on from, or whether he's just more concerned about fitness of his players. A little dive there from Canos to win a free kick in his own right-back position.
Well, it's a game that we were on paper expected to win, yet when you look at the team sheets and the trouble that give them some credit, they've had their own COVID problems. It's not unique or exclusive to Chelsea, but for the sake of this conversation, it's just interesting about us. We've had a number of issues to overcome, a number, Matt. And to come through this game, tricky away game, fancy the chances, West London derby. You know, the young bucks of the Premier League want to give the Kings of Europe a bloody nose. Hasn't quite turned out that way. Tough game to come through this so far, and said semi-final, here we come.
Draw will be made shortly after all the games are finished. Still 3-2 to Leicester, 2-1 to Spurs. Anyone particularly you fancy, Leicester, Spurs or Arsenal? Probably Arsenal, hasn't it, out of those
Don't
three?
care, Matt. Honestly, you know, Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, they're all have their tricky. You know, they're all going to have a conversation about all of them. All present their own problems. All of them. They're all very similar right now. I know if you had to pick one of them to fight and play now.
Spurs probably the form team.
Yeah, possibly, but you know, maybe Arsenal have done all right recently. Leicester pulled 1 or 2 results out. I would say they're all in that rung below where we are. We will go into whatever comes. We're favourites.
Seconds of this quarter-final left. Chelsea will be in the semis for the first time since 2019. They beat Spurs in that one over 2 legs. Yeah, Brentford looking for a consolation goal back with Burmo, or he's overhit that for Tony. I think as the final whistle goes, Chelsea are through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Thomas Tuchel banging his hands together in applause of his players and their effort. We've said it time and again, Jason, it's not been easy, and they needed some help from the opposition, let's be clear about that, but Chelsea have got the job done.
Yes, you know, you go into the last 15 minutes of this game, it stunk of penalties. Yeah, a couple of substitutions, a rash moment from Janssen, and then a rash moment from Fernandes, plus a little bit of quality added from the bench. Ended up with you know, the better side overall. I think no one can argue with what we've seen here. The better side have won without being brilliant, you know, without causing too many problems. They were reasonably comfortable, Brentford, but the game, when it's small margins like this, a bit of quality. Jorginho added a bit of quality, and Gullo added a bit of quality. I did Mason as well. Pulisic that won us the penalty. In the end, it felt like it was won from the bench, in all honesty, and well played, Thomas Tuchel.
On to Aston Villa on Boxing Day, all being well then. Chelsea can look forward to the draw, which will happen moments from now. We'll have news of that and all the reaction in the post-match show with Joe and the team. Stick around for that, but from Jason Cundy and myself, Matt Davis-Adams, thanks for your company today. Finished at the Brentford Community Stadium. Brentford 0, Chelsea 2.